Hello and welcome into the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. We're here today for another exciting Esports Tower Rumble where some of the most talented all-star teams of the Esports Tower take on some of the best high school Rocket League teams in the nation. Every week they battle in a standalone bracket. I am Michael Fisher, helping me call all the action. It's already Nerdy Bird Rain. And Nerdy, tonight we might get our best Rumble ever. We have Forsyth Central returning off their first championship. We have St. John's Bosco, two-time champions. They've never lost a game in the Rumble, coming back after a week off. We've also got the Grayson Schools, a very strong competitor. And then from the Esports Tower side, we've got the Barracudas, always very strong. And the Swerve, who you and I have been praising for weeks as an up-and-coming team, plus the Mammoths as well. This is going to be a star-studded Rumble here that we have on our hands tonight.
I am excited, especially to see the Mammoths, because they themselves took a couple weeks off. At least I know for sure last week they weren't in, and I want to say the week before that they weren't either. So possibly we could see another whole sort of like turnaround that we experienced last week in the form of the Scorpions and the Spiders with their form of gameplay and their defensive abilities like escalating out off the roof from the weeks prior. So I'm really excited to see what all these teams have in store for us.
Yeah, the Esports Tower teams, as you mentioned, they've shown they take a couple weeks off, but they do not take those off, you know, just laissez-faire, we'll come back. No, they work really, really hard. You nailed it. The Scorpions and Spiders made their first bracket appearances. We'll see if the Mammoths can do the same in the Swerve, a team that are kind of flirting with that bracket. They also took a couple weeks off. I think they also have a new player that we might see as well, and who knows, they might make a run. We will have to see. But if you are just joining us, you want to know how the Esports Tower Rumble works, it's pretty simple each week. So the best high school teams in the nation join our Esports Tower Elite teams in a standalone bracket. They will compete through group play, round robin each other. The top two teams will come out. There we go. Forsyth Central, last week's champion. St. John's Bosco, they are two-time champions. They have not lost a single match, group play or bracket play at all. And then the Grayson Schools, always a strong team. And then we got the Barracudas. They're also two-time champs. They've been a little bit flaky as of late, but I know they're trying to get back on the right path. Mammoths and Swerve as well. They'll all play best of 3 in the group play and our semifinals. Our finals will be a best of 5. And these teams are ready to play. And like I said, this might be the best Rumble bracket that we've ever seen, Nerdy.
Well, as you know, the school year's winding down. They are bringing everything they have to the table now. These are their last chances to show us everything that they have to offer for these, at least this week and the next.
Yeah, and Group A, man, has always been our hardest group. I mean, Forsyth Central, St. John's Bosco, the Barracudas. I mean, these are all championship teams, and only 2 teams can make it out of that group. So I'm going to be really, really, carefully watching our group play, because that is a tough group. Group A is always a hard group, and this week it gets even harder.
Having it be stacked is a little difficult for all 3 teams. I feel bad, especially because it's kind of, if you're in that stacked group, it's automatically like kind of a little bit of a title that you get to be, the harder of the competitors to start. However, that also means that it makes it way harder for you to make it into the finals, and only 1 team can be left standing from that bracket. And so I'm not going to make any, sort of premonitions about who's going to make it to the finals, because I'm notorious for caster cursing us.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, but we will hop right in. If you are new here, group play has already finished. We'll take a look back for some of the highlights, take a couple look at some games as well, do those as live, and then we'll get into our live bracket. We'll kick things off in Group A. It is last week's reigning champion, Forsyth Central, and the Barracudas that will kick things off for us. Cannot wait to see how Forsyth Central, by the way, champion, 7 straight bracket appearances as well. They do not disappoint. They are a very, very tough team. They want to be the 2nd team ever to win back-to-back championships, right behind St. John's Bosco, who we'll see in a little bit. Barracudas, they had an early season spark. They're trying to get back to it. They want to try and be able to get into the bracket once again, but they're always in this Group A, like you mentioned. And so far, we see a very, very close game here on the screen, Nerdy, with both teams really struggling to find offense.
I mean, already getting into that just under 3-minute mark, there was no goal scored. Now we're seeing the fast forward to just above a minute left. Still no goals for either side. Shows that there's great defense and offensive play happening here. Probably lots of disruptions. I hear some demolitions happening in both this one and the flashback that we had earlier. So the aggression's definitely there. It's just that comes down to like making those finishing moves and the connecting passes.
I mean, you see, we're already a minute and a half into overtime here in this game, and it is still 0-0. And it looks like, oh man, Buddy, who we know, we see him all the time, not on a toaster this week. He's back in his normal setup, absolutely pops off. We will check back in with that series later on. We'll go into our next one, though. It's Forsyth Central. It's St. John's Bosco. These are the last 3 champions in the Esports Tower Rumble. They are completely dominant. Forsyth wants to prove they're the strongest team ever. So whoever wins this group play probably's got to be our favorite, Nerdy, for the championship this week.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, the Demolitions, I see one come out and an offensive push occurring right then out from St. John's Bosco, but he immediately gets turned around there by Buddy. Buddy is always one of those players that's kind of a triple threat, and we do see that eventually end up in the form of a goal. That's amazing. I'm really excited to see how this full game turned out and to check back with that first one.
Yeah, Buddy, absolutely massive for this team. I mean, we just saw that game-winning goal he had earlier. Like I said, Forsyth has made the bracket 7 straight times. They could make it 8. That's a huge goal there from Turbo. I mean, and these guys have just players. Turbo and Buddy are guys you're going to want to watch out for if both these teams make it into the bracket because they're absolutely talented. We see another overtime game. That is how close this Group A is. Multiple overtime games to determine who is just going to win a group play game.
I will not lie, overtime definitely makes you more anxious, more mentally gassed than any other form of play within Rocket League, so this was probably some of the most taxing bracket play for these players that they've experienced thus far in the Esports Tower tournaments.
Remember, St. John's Bosco has never lost a game in the Rumble, or series, I should say, in the Rumble, and just like that, Buddy puts it home, and now St. John's Bosco, gods have bled in the Esports Tower. They have lost a series. They have to win this next one against the Barracudas to be able to make it to the bracket. The Barracudas, if they get this huge upset, they could potentially eliminate St. John's Bosco, which would be absolutely incredible.
Oh my gosh!
And they get an early goal from Flux.
That was huge!
Oh, but this is going to be crazy if the Barracudas get this upset because St. John's Bosco looked unstoppable the 2 weeks we saw them.
I'm noticing that the Barracudas, we do have the standard, Yeezy and Quez there, the dynamic duo, but Jockstraw has been replaced, or it's just a name change, but we've got Flux there, and I'm definitely noticing a little bit different gameplay coming out from that player, so I do think it's someone else, and that might have been that missing ingredient for the Barracudas to make changes in their play.
I think you're right. I think we had seen Flux on a different team, and yeah, we know what Yeezy and Quez could do. Flux has maybe given this team just an extra gear. As we mentioned, this is the first time ever St. John's Bosco has to win, or they could be eliminated, but this is why they're 2-time champs. They are absolutely insane. Fear Classic, Turbo, and then Slayer, who I think is either a name change or a new player, all look phenomenal. And Louis might have another overtime game in this group. This Group A, as we talked about, is just so difficult. Oh, no!
Oh, dang, that was so close.
No!
I don't foresee a 3-second goal at this point. I'm sorry, Barracudas.
Oh, you could not have played that better if you were the Barracudas. You do see on the screen they ended up losing the series 2-0. But my goodness, they made St. John's Bosco work for that one. That was absolutely incredible, and that just goes to show you how hard it is to make it out of Group A.
I am genuinely excited to see the remainder of this bracket play, specifically because these teams that we saw in Group A were putting St. John's Bosco on their heels, so to speak, and giving them a run for their money, which they weren't able to do in the prior weeks when St. John's Bosco had just kind of snuck in and been like, hi, yes, hello, we're very good at this game too, and we're about to show you just that. So, I believe I mentioned, disrupting everything that you possibly can with St. John's Bosco was the key to making sure you could shut them down, and I think a lot of those teams picked up on it.
Yeah, I mean, St. John's Bosco had to push, but we said we will go back to Group A. It's our highlight match. We'll take a full look at this game. It is back to Forsyth Central in the blue, the Barracudas in the orange. Forsyth Central, if they win, gets the top seed in Group A. The Barracudas win. We could have a 3-way tie to determine who's coming out of Group A. So it is a lot of pressure as DJ TJ is going to carry it up, trying to set something up for a teammate, but great job there from Yeezy clearing it away. One last attempt there, as it looks like Meow has changed the prefix of their name, but we do know at least that the suffix is the same, so we know it's the same player. As we see that ball cleared across, they're going to just miss on it, and the Barracudas get a nice clear.
We do see that it's getting corralled over here by Buddy down from that top corner. They're taking it down, but Yeezy manages to disrupt that and do some nice aerial dunking around one player of Forsyth. But then the follow-up from multiple members of Forsyth puts them in a great goal-scoring opportunity, but it just gets sent a little bit too far to the left.
Ooh, DJ TJ is going to center it up. Nice save there from Flux. Going to pass it down.
Oh, that's huge!
Oh, Buddy makes a huge save there. Quez can keep the pressure on. He's going to go above the net. Oh, just turned away on the rebound, but the Barracudas trying to put their first goal on. There's that demolition, though, but looks like nothing's going to come of it.
I couldn't even tell which side had that demolition come out on them. I think that was a Forsyth Central onto a Barracudas member, and it does eventually lead to a first goal for the side of Forsyth.
Now, who else but Buddy RV? He has been a staple for this Forsyth Central team. And right now, just runs into his own teammate. Had another wide open chance at his second goal here as Yeezy's looking to center something up. Flux going to elevate for it. Shot just a bit too weak. Quez, one-timer, sneaks it in.
I'm not going to lie, that was a bit of a slower pace goal-scoring opportunity there than we've normally seen. Even on the ping-ponging around right there, people were pretty slowed down.
Yeah, that was a very slow goal, but the Barracudas, they have hung with these two champions. As I said, Forsyth won last week. They're trying to go for back-to-back, and that's just unfortunate. That really is.
It happens. you can't, it doesn't always roll in your favor. It is a round object.
You hate to see it slow roll in. We didn't get the stats, but I had to assume probably under 20 kilometers an hour, which is just a huge slap in the face. But the Barracudas, plenty of time here. Quez and Yeezy. Just a miss there. Yeezy's still able to corral it. Buddy does challenge, though. Now Meow in the corner. Looking for the pass, not able to find it. DJ TJ off the demo. Puts it home. That was a great demo. I mean, and these demos, we saw this last week. It seems like they're continuing in the disruption in the Esports Tower has made its way back into the meta, if you will, in terms of what teams are looking for there. Right on cue.
Oh, my goodness.
And, that one, nice stop there. I think that is Flux. They all use the same car. They all use the Octane, so it's hard to tell them apart sometimes. As Quez is going to just launch that one down right over to Yeezy. Ball's a bit high, though, and a nice save by DJ TJ.
We do see Yeezy down in the corner right here trying to get a centering shot. Ultimately, Quez is going to be there as well, but Buddy's going to, that's Meow's going to manage to knock it all the way down towards the orange goal, but Yeezy will redirect it. Nice disruption.
DJ TJ going to pop it up in the air. A couple of teammates going to go for it. Meow's shot too weak. Flux should be able to corral this one. Gets the ball around Meow pretty fantastically, actually. Down to the corner. Buddy's going to hit it back. Perfect read there. But a nice save from DJ TJ, and it does look like we had a demolition as we saw Yeezy spawn the very back of the screen.
We've got Meow managing to knock it over into the corner, but no one's there to make the connection. So now we've got Yeezy trying to take it up the wall right now. I do believe that's DJ TJ trying to get it away from them. Never mind. That is someone else because DJ was there for the redirect. It's dropping down right in front of Meow, but they're not going to go after it, allowing the Barracudas to just stay here. But DJ calculates that one perfectly and is able to grab it when it drops.
Nice challenge there by Buddy as well. Quez does sneak it past Meow, though. DJ TJ in perfect position. He's been a defensive force for Forsyth. Almost dribbles it home. Flux tries to make a play, and that's just an unfortunate ricochet. Huge save there for the Barracudas.
Now they've got the opportunity to take this ball up. They get a nice centering pass. No one's there to chase after it with their team. However, Zoriana is going to get that redirect down towards the goal. They're going to chase it all the way down into the corner. Now we've got two members of the Barracudas waiting down there to try and take it away from them.
Flux trying to score quickly here. Goal every 30 seconds. Doable for the Barracudas. Buddy makes a save. Bounces just a little bit too high. Quez does hit it over into the corner, trying to center it back up for Flux, but DJ TJ clears it away. Buddy now trying to air dribble it away from his side. Does a pretty good job, and Quez able to launch it back, but time is ticking down on the Barracudas if they want to try and make it out of this group.
We've got that centering shot off the corner, but the elevation from Buddy is going to allow it to get sent all the way down to the orange goal. Yeezy calculates out perfectly, centers it back up. And Yeezy gets demoed once again, and now we're got one man down over by the orange goal. They've already respawned. They're going to try to take that ball away from the members of Forsyth, and can they do it? They just might, and they get it past the center mark just in time for DJ to knock it away.
30 seconds left for the Barracudas. Buddy's trying to put this game away, and he probably just did with an excellent goal there, his second of the match. He has been phenomenal, and it looks like Forsyth Central is going to come out of Group A with an undefeated record and probably the top seed overall going into the bracket.
Yeah, I don't think Forsyth is going to drop this one too easily. 16 seconds is a lot to ask for 3 goals for the side of the Barracudas. As we see, I think that was a double demolition come out right there on both from 2 members, and another demo coming out. Oh my gosh, there is just so much bloodshed on the field right now.
Yeah, that must have been, teams must have watched last week's Rumble and been like, hey, those demolitions, they kind of propelled the Scorpions and the Spiders. Maybe we should go after it. But, I mean, that's going to be Forsyth. They're sending a message. They're 2-0. St. John's Bosco will also get out of the group. But the Barracudas cannot be saddened by that performance. They took both those teams to overtime. Like I said, those teams have combined for our last 3 championships. And Group A, it just been our group of death. And unfortunately, the Barracudas tried all they could, just couldn't quite get it done. But I think bright things are around the corner for that team.
Yeah, I want to return to that whole thing about the demolitions being in the favor of the winning team, because in those last moments that we saw, there was 4 different demolitions that took place. 2 of them were double demos, so both players got demolition. But in total, throughout that course of one round, we had over 7 demolitions coming out from Forsyth Central alone. I think we do see a trend here.
Hey, it won them last week's Rumble, so that is something to keep an eye on that we will transition over into Group B. We'll start off with the Mammoth and Grayson School. Both these teams took a few weeks off but are looking to get right back into it. The Mammoths have added a new teammate as well. And we see here Zydra will be the new teammate for the Mammoths. He's been practicing all week. Looks to be a very solid addition. Meanwhile, look for Sunky and Llama Guy to combine for big things here for Grayson. But it's Vibes who gets our first goal here, and the Mammoths maybe sending a message that they are not to be trifled with early on in this game as we take some look at the highlights.
We do have them making some great defensive play right here, getting those centering shots out away from their own goal, but they aren't able to rotate back fast enough to stop that one shot from going in from the side of Grayson. However, 1-1 with a little over a minute and dropping down to the 3-minute mark, still 1-1 and not bad at all.
No, Lamakai, incredible defensively for Grace. We see here totally redirecting that ball. Oh, great stop there. Oh. But it barely sneaks in. I think that was Tordos who it was who scored that goal, but nearly a great effort there from Lamakai. And we see this series going down to the wire. Only a minute left in this one. Still plenty of time here. There it is, right on cue. Another demolition, Ernie. That's something we got to watch out for, I think, in this week's Rumble is the demolitions, as that ended up leading to a goal.
That was beautiful.
That was fantastic. The Mammoths making their name. No, Zydra, the new member, trying to come in clutch. Tordos and Vibes, though, doing a lot of the heavy lifting, scoring a majority of those goals. Then we go to maybe our favorite Esports Tower team, the Swerve, who we have been praising for weeks. Took a couple weeks off. They're taking on Grayson, and Dapu gets another one. They do have a new teammate,
though. Jocks!
There's Jocks. He swapped around. Flux, I think, was on the Swerve as well. But I think this Swerve team is going to be very, very tough for teams to take care of. We see they have this lead. But, a great goal with under a minute left for Grayson right there.
Oh, my.
The arena was rumbling with the excitement from that goal as we see, Dapu. That's a name we've seen for Swerve for several weeks. Gets an excellent goal right there. And the Swerve, we're going to see right here, and I read this stat and could not believe it. Score 5 goals in 40 seconds.
What?
5 goals in the last minute of this game. 5 goals in 40 seconds.
Oh, my God. Oh, what?
We talk about a goal every 30 seconds. 5 in 40
Holy
is
crud.
insane.
That has to be a record for us viewing here inside the esports arena. I don't even think our own Broncos have managed to put that many goals in such a short amount of time up on the board.
No. We've talked about 3 in 34. 5 in 40 is next level for the Swerve, and this is why this team, we have given them so much praise. Dapu and Jocks having a huge game. They look to come out, maybe make that bracket. We'll come back to this series to wrap it up with our live match, but, 5 goals is insane. Now we get on to our Esports Tower Showdown. It's the Swerve and the Mammoth. And we see early on the Swerve, 5th killer. He didn't get any goals in that pop-off game, but he gets his first one here, and the Swerve are looking incredibly strong early on right now, trying to clinch that spot in the bracket. The Mammoths, just as tough. These teams took a couple weeks off, Nerdy, and this worked last week for the Spiders and the Scorpions. Esports Tower teams practice really hard in those weeks off, and it's definitely showing right now.
I got to imagine that they do some in-house scrimming that allows them to kind of get into each other's heads a little bit, so they've got to be anticipating what each other are going to be doing in this match and trying to stop each other. I think that's why, even with the Swerve and the Mammoths going against each other, 2 teams that we genuinely actually do love here, it's still going to be a little bit difficult to call with either one really coming out on top too quickly.
Yeah, and also a big shout out to Zydra, the new player for the Mammoths. He actually moved up from Division 3 to Division 2 within the Esports Tower and kind of earned that promotion to the Mammoths. So a huge shout out to him as we see the Swerve are still putting up insane scorelines. Everybody has 2 goals, which is crazy to see that distribution of scoring be almost dead even between the whole team.
Now we just got to get everybody to get hats, and then all of them put hats on their cars.
That'd be pretty sick. But
yeah, you get the hat trick, and then you get to wear a top hat. Right?
Hey, that'd be pretty awesome. That would be pretty awesome. But I mean, both teams had new teammates. Both performed pretty incredibly well. The Mammoths did take down Grayson, so as long as the Swerve take care of business in our final highlight of the night, the Mammoths will advance. But the Swerve, my goodness, they're just putting up insane numbers all around with new teammates. I mean, we talked about it, Jocks moving from the Barracudas to the Swerve. This Swerve team is looking really, really, really good. And we'll cap things off with a full game with them versus Grayson. But I got to say the Swerve may be the underdog pick to maybe make an upset in our brackets if they get there.
Yeah, Esports Tower's kind of been doing some experimentation, moving some players around, trying to, create those well-rounded teams. And I think in the form of the Swerve and the Mammoths, they've created 2 definitely well-rounded teams thus far for this week's performance.
We do see here, we kick it off, ball right in front of the net. Huge save there from Fifth Killer. He's going to clear it down. Jocks waiting for a pass, maybe. Perfect rebound. Bit of a double commit does come out from Jocks and Fifth Killer, though. You don't want to see that. And now we see Llama Guy's going to take advantage. Cleared all the way down, and just a miscommunication there for the Swerve to start things off.
Thankfully, we did have one player rotating all the way back to the back post when they took that shot on the goal, seeing two of their own teammates far in front of them. As we see a demolition come out right there onto one of the members of Grayson from one of the Swerve.
Ooh, nice stop by Incredible, trying to clear it away. They're going to get a little bit of a bump there, but Fifth Killer takes his shot off the rebound. Dopu just cannot redirect. Jocks one chance, ball bounces too high, but he does get the demolition. Looking for a centering, ends up kind of running into his own teammate. We are seeing a bit of double commits come out from the Swerve, but that'll happen when you have some new players on board, and Grayson's eventually going to be able to clear it down. Fifth Killer, though, with a great stop. Oh, huge save, though, by Sunky and Incredible.
We do see Doppler's try to elevate and hit that one. Unfortunately, it just goes a little bit over their head, allowing the members of Grayson to get this ball rotated back up to the side of the Swerve. Now Jocks is managing to get some great disruption, bouncing it off that wall. However, the follow-up from 2 members of Grayson will allow it to be almost hit into the goal, but it's just going to be a little too far to the left.
A couple members for the Swerve go after it. Eventually, they will push it down. Dapu tried to play it around Incredible, not able to get it. Ooh, Fifth Killer actually ran into Jocks, unfortunately. Bumped him out of the way, and still working on that just a little bit. Just a little bit. We've seen some double commits from the Swerve in this game just alone.
I mean, 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. It's more than enough time to even out the score. 1-0 isn't that big of a deal unless it remains 1-0 all the way up until the last 10 seconds, in which case you might have some heart palpitations.
Nice job, though, from Fifth Killer. Passes it down. Ooh, great defense, though. Dapu's going to be able to rein that one in. He's been a consistent player for the Swerve in their Rumble appearances, and they got a chance here to tie this one. There's one demolition. Can he get another one? Oh, they're going to get a shot here. Can Fifth Killer redirect it? No. One chance. Oh, there's a demo from Llama Guy, and that should stop the attack.
We do have the ball still in the hands of the team Swerve right now. We have one member trying to disrupt them. A slide double commit again for the Swerve right there. So we got one of them taking it up the wall. They're managing to play it past a couple members of the side of Grayson, and 2 members of the Swerve are still waiting more in that defensive position. They pop the ball high in the air. The follow-up right there from Dapu is just going to be knocked a little bit too far away by one of the members of Grayson.
Oh, Jocks with a great opportunity, and he takes it from midfield. Jocks now with the Swerve. Bangs it home, and we've got ourselves a tie game here. Swerve looking to be the top team from Group B. Oh, nearly scored on the demo, and they still got a chance here. Is they're going to play the rebound? Oh, Jocks' shot just a bit wide. Fifth Killer, can he get it? No, he cannot, but that kickoff was nearly huge for the Swerve.
Oh, and then we have Sucky coming in and getting a demo right there onto one of the members of the Swerve, as we do have them still even down 1, managing to rotate all the way back towards the blue goal with the follow-up right there. He's going to be knocked away by Llama Guy into the far corner. I do believe we're looking at Dash right now trying to take on Jocks. Jocks gets a nice shot, but it's a little bit too wide of the goal.
Dapu looking to play his own rebound. Can't quite find it, however, and Llama Guy should be able to clear that one away. Gets it around another member of the Swerve. Now Llama Guy racing down into the corner. Dapu's going to challenge him. He's got someone right in front of the goal. Sunky's going to take the shot. Huge read there from Jocks, and he's able to clear it away. And now he's trying to take a shot on the goal.
Got no one to beat. Oh!
Just hit the crossbar. Dapu and Fifth Killer trying to keep it alive for the Swerve. As Jocks gets one more chance but everybody's there for Grayson, and we'll stay in a 1-1 game.
Yeah, that dunk kind of seemed to land right onto one of the members of Grayson. This is a little bit unfortunate. Hard to miss them when they're all three right down in front of you. However, they're managing to turn this fight around and take it back over towards the side of Grayson's goal. They play it off the wall. We do have one in the goal, but Llama Guy is going to be there for the redirect.
Oh, perfect center there. Oh, Dapu ends up bailing on. I guess he thought Sunky would get to the ball first. Ends up stealing it away, pinching it towards the net. Llama Guy makes the defense. Dapu doesn't have any boost, unfortunately, so he's got to rely on his teammates. Jox tries once off the crossbar. Llama Guy's able to clear it away. Dapu keeps it barely alive. Almost sets it up better, though, for Grayson. The fifth killer just has to push it away from his own net.
We do see Jox looking like they're going to knock this ball away from Sunky, but the disruption play leads it in more in favor of the side of Grayson as it drops right in front of Dash the Incredible in front of the orange goal. Llama Guy tries to get a shot on it, but it is going to be knocked away over towards the blue goal. And we do see Jox getting a goal-scoring opportunity right there, but it's just barely too slow to drop in. And it does still look like they're trying to keep up this push.
Dapu can't quite get a shot. Llama Guy clears the way. There's Jox. He's hit the crossbar more times than he's willing to count, and he hits it again. The ball just bounces right on that line. Ends up getting cleared out. 10 seconds left. Maybe one last chance for either of these teams before we have overtime. Gonna pass it over to fifth killer. He'll take a shot. Llama Guy's gonna miss. But Dash Incredibles makes a great play, and we should be heading to overtime as Dapu can't keep that one alive.
I don't like overtime. It's heart palpitation inducing as we do see Dapus gets that 50-50 in favor of the side of the swerve. Jox is waiting right there at the goal. Perfectly reads that one. One member of Grayson elevates, barely misses it. Llama Guy disrupts Dapus over here at the mid, and it's getting thrown all the way back towards the blue goal. Will they be able to be there for the follow-up? It's touched up, but it hits the back wall.
A lot of pressure here from the swerve. I would not be shocked if they eventually find a way on the back of the net as Jox is going to steal that one away. Sunky, though, gets it around fifth killer. Dapu able to push that one over to the corner. Dash trying to keep it alive for his team in overtime. Fifth killer pops it up in the air. Doesn't quite hit the ball probably as far as he wanted, but a misplay there from Grayson opens up the chances. Finally, Dash Incredibles gets it over in the corner. Dapu centers it over, but Jox ended up backing off that ball.
The follow-up right there, though, is going to find that goal-scoring, well, that golden goal to end out that match.
I think it was fifth killer who gets it for the swerve, and now we see how our bracket sets up in the semifinals. First seed, number 1 overall, Forsyth trying to go back-to-back champions. Meanwhile, St. John's Bosco with a 1-1 record will fall down to Group B. We saw Swerve go 2-0 with their new teammates. There, a couple of changes as well. They'll take on St. John's Bosco and the Mammoths, who took a couple weeks off. They've shown some great improvements. They will take on Forsyth Central. So this is stacking up to be a great bracket. I mean, all of those games in that group play that we saw were incredibly close, multiple overtime games. This is setting up to be maybe one of our best rumbles yet.
I am excited to watch that game of St. John's Bosco versus the Swerve. I feel like that is probably the most equally matched team that we could put against St. John's Bosco, at least for this week in total, because I don't know about you, Fish, but the new roster that the Swerve has is stacked.
Yeah, I like what the Esports Tower has done. They've made some great plug-in additions. They made me move some guys around with Flux and Jox trading places, and it has worked out all around. But we will take a quick break. We will be back with semifinal number 1. Our reigning champs, Forsyth Central, they want a spot back in the championship. Can they take down the Mammoths to do it? Find out next.
NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Welcome back in Boise State Gay Pants Esports Arena. We're broadcasting this week's Esports Tower Rumble, and we're just about ready to get going in our first semifinal of the night. We had an explosive and exciting group play that we just saw, and now it's time for our reigning champions, Forsyth Central. They have now made it to the bracket 8 times in a row. They're looking for their second straight championship. They're taking on the Mammoths, who took a couple weeks off, with a new teammate in tow who just got promoted within the Esports Tower divisions. The Mammoths looking incredibly tough for their performance in Group B. So we'll see who comes out, the favorite or the underdog, but I think the Mammoths are going to give Forsyth Central everything they have, because this is a very talented team. We've seen, Nerdy, the Esports Tower teams, they focus on those demos, and that can be, as long as you do them correctly, one of those equalizing factors, because you can't just go demo somebody, leave the goal wide open. That'll never work, but if you do it correctly in rotation, that can be immensely huge for shifting the momentum of the game.
Yeah, especially when you've got a player on your team, and I'm not trying to point fingers at Meow or anything, but they kind of are our demolition reigning champion right now, and they basically make that field look like it's a scene from Mad Max. I'm not going to lie. And so I think the Mammoths really need to olay the demos, as Doc likes to put it in those Doc's keys. Yeah, they're going to watch out for the demos coming out, because Forsyth Central, they kind of saw what the other Esports Tower teams are doing. Like, hey, why don't we just do that? And you're right. Meow has just absolutely taken over, I think 7 or 8 in one game last week. But let's take a look at our standings, see how we set up going forward, as it is going to be Forsyth Central taking on the Esports Tower Mammoths. Here we said Forsyth Central, they are the reigning champ, and they took down St. John's Bosco in the group stage, which is also a very, very impressive thing. You just got to make sure you don't be like, all right, we beat the best, it doesn't matter anymore, we can play with our hands and our toes. Always got to make sure you don't get too complacent. But here's how our semifinals square out. Forsyth and the Mammoths, we followed up by the Swerve and St. John's Bosco. Those will be best of 3. Our finals overall will be best of 5. And we get the Doc's keys of the game, presented by the Esports Tower. Score pro advice at esportstower.com. Play and shoot the rebound, disrupt pathing of attackers, defend and attack boost, rotate to the back post quickly, and we got to add it in as an honorary bullet point, because clearly it is not going away. Olay those demos, because my goodness, you hear more booms and bangs and explosions, and we see goals at some point. But improve your game sense, improve your team play, and improve your performance under pressure. You match with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. Go check them out, esportstower.com, for more information. And these Esports Tower teams, they've done a very interesting strategy. They've taken a couple weeks off. They played internally. As you mentioned earlier, they have to have some ongoing scrims, and they've come out with a vengeance when they've gotten back into these rumbles. So we will see. It is Forsyth Central. It is the Mammoths, and DJ TJ wins that one cleanly off the kickoff. Torto's going to try and defend it. Meow recenters it up. Zydra going to wait, and it looks like Buddy's going to give one last chance here, but Torto's with a nice clear away. We do have Buddy rotating up from that clear, but DJ TJ reads it perfectly and knocks it back over towards the side of the Orange's goal. My apologies, my brain just malfunctioned. As we do see a demolition come out from Buddy onto Torto's right there, right in the goal.
Just a little bit of a graphical mishap. It is the Mammoths. No need to worry with these Esports Tower teams. They are also talented. We can get them confused, as Zydra, the new player for the Mammoths, tries to set it up, but right on cue. There's Meow with a demo, and it leads to a goal, and it's exactly the strategy we've seen teams pull out these last few weeks.
There was another demolition right there in the goal as that occurred on DJ. It was kind of like a little, oh well, oh wait, no, that was the animation. Yep. Yes, the one that blows everybody up. Yes. Sorry, I can't count those.
Those are the ones where it makes it hard to track demos, because it is that missile locking. I think the whole Orange team for Boise State at one point used it, and you're like, wait, how are there so many demos? And you're like, oh, that's right, because they're scoring a bunch, and it demos everyone in the area. But there's another real demo coming up. Who else? Meow getting another one. DJ TJ just gonna miss. Buddy, oh, I don't know how he does it. I honestly don't know how he does it. Every week he puts in a goal. I'm like, what?
Also, side note, for anyone that was here last week, Forsyth mentioned that they were going into their state championship match for Rocket League as well. If anybody knows how that turned out, please drop it in the chat. I'm curious to know how that went. I'm pretty sure it went well regardless of the outcome. So we do see that kickoff go more in favor once again of Forsyth, as DJ's just constantly getting those 50-50s just cleanly.
Zydra trying to clear it away over to Tordos. Tordos is going to pinch that one up against the wall. Buddy is there, though. No longer on his toaster from last week either. DJ TJ having himself a game. He puts that one in with a great pass from Buddy as well.
I noticed how both you and I saw that most players like to use that Octane. It's probably just because of the length of the car in comparison to most of the other ones, and also the height is nice to be able to see things. But we've got DJ, TJ, and Buddy both rocking different cars. Maybe that's the secret.
Yeah, I mean, DJ TJ I feel like has switched it every week. Buddy's the kind of guy who he might have the stock tin. I don't even know if he changed his colors on it. That's when you know that you're either a serious Rocket Leaguer or you just download the game if you have the stock tin. But there's Meow. Hey, who needs a demo when you can score the goal? Which is a great goal from them. And when they have these moments, this is when you know Forsyth's kicking on all cylinders. When Meow's able to score goals like that.
That was a beautiful dunk right in front of two members of the Mammoths. Neither one was ready to elevate to stop that. I don't even know if they had enough boost to do it. As we see this kickoff actually go in favor of the side of the Mammoths. Unfortunately, though, DJ reads it perfectly, and Buddy manages to get out demo at the exact same time, so that's going to slow down this push onto the blue goal a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to try and carry it down. There's a couple members to beat. Tries to pass it over to Buddy, who's in the corner.
What? Oh, that was sneaky, Buddy. If this was normal soccer, that would have been offsides, and you know it.
That was a fantastic, I mean, that looks like a pass that you would see in normal soccer. That's the crazy thing. You know, he sees him all the way across the field, just chips it over, offside to side. Absolutely incredible performance here from Forsyth Central. They have built themselves quite the lead, and I mean, it just feels like this is a team, as you mentioned. They're going into their state tournament. They just beat St. John's Bosco. Buddy's picking up a hat trick. I think Forsyth is feeling themselves right now. And there's just, unfortunately for the Mammoths, when a team is hot, there's nothing you can do.
No.
There's just nothing. They're insane.
It's a different, mindset. They're elevated on a level of thinking we can't even get on. They're coordinated together, all thinking on the same wavelength. It's borderline impossible to shut down.
Yeah, if Forsyth ends up winning this whole thing, they probably have an argument as one of the best high school teams in the nation right now.
I can't disagree with that.
If they win, that is what they are playing for. And the Mammoths, unfortunately, just got in the way. And I mean, this is nothing that, there's no mechanical misplays for the Mammoths. It's just, how do you stop that? How do you stop a perfect pass?
You can't, unless you take Meow's approach and just blow everybody up that is near your goal.
Except Meow's blowing everybody up before they can blow anybody up.
Yeah, they're out for blood. They're not letting off. As we see, DJ's also was right in front of the goal again. Thankfully, was redirected by one of the members of the Mammoths, forcing Buddy on their heels as well as DJ to rotate back. We do see all three members of Forsyth actually rotating back towards their goal before they try to go for this next push. And a double commit works a little bit in their favor, but there's multiple shots on goal, so they need to be careful as they're doing that. And we do see a demolition once again come out from Meow right there in the goal.
I'm just going to try and carry this one up. There's another demolition, it looks like, over in the corner. Make it a third demolition. Unfortunately, the Mammoths aren't able to play the game right now. As DJ TJ tries to set it up right in front of the net. Meow gets a great shot, but Tordos with a huge save, and the Mammoths keep pushing, plugging away, and they might have an opportunity. Forsyth overcommits. Meow, the only one back there, barely gets a hood on that one, and DJ TJ is going to clear it back down and try to take a shot on the net.
There's a disruption coming out right there from Zydra that's just enough to knock the ball away from that forward push from DJ, and now they're going to try and corral this ball away from the members of Forsyth, playing it off the ceiling. It drops in front of Zydra, but it's not enough, as we do see Buddy elevates over them, knocking it towards the orange goal, but Zydra's there waiting in the corner.
Oh, Zydra.
Oh!
There's the demolitionist for Meow, picking one up there. I think that is 5 now in this game. And they are continuing where they left off last week. And, they nearly sneak a goal in. They finish it.
So that was a double demolition coming out from Meow right there. They had 2 back-to-back, and in between those 2 got that demolitionist. In total, we are now at 9 demolitions coming out from the side of Forsyth, with 1 coming out from the Mammoths.
I mean, Forsyth has truly feel like they have achieved nirvana in terms of Rocket League play. They have managed the passing, the scoring, the defense, and now the demolitions all perfectly. Survives is going to retreat. Buddy wants to center it up. Vibes, though, makes a great play. DJ TJ can't quite stop it either up on that wall. Vibes just keeps going, has a great opportunity here. Pops it right in front of the net for a teammate. Tordos tries to recenter it. Not quite able to find it, and that's going to allow Buddy to pick it up in the air and start dribbling it down.
Some beautiful aerial play, and Ariana's going to get another demolition out onto Zydra right there. Oh my goodness, they're just not letting them play the game at all. We do see Buddy forcing to rotate back towards that back post as Tordos manages to get the ball down towards the blue goal, but it gets redirected almost instantly by Buddy.
30 seconds left. Mammoth's trying to see if they can pick up a goal here and really just avoid the wrath of Meow at this point is almost the more important thing, as they maybe go for 10 demolitions. Oh, huge save from Vibes. The Mammoths have been playing some spectacular defense when they're actually allowed to play the game, as Vibes gets another one. And now Meow's probably going to go headhunting. You'd have to assume after all those perfect saves.
Oh, for sure. Just get grumpy at one of the players and just be like, you're the one who stopped 2 of my goals, so therefore I'm going to blow you up while I try to score this next goal. The ball is in the air. We have 1 second remaining. If it touches the ground, the round is over. It's still living. Someone's going to try to do some fancy ball work right here. And there's the 10th demolition right there, right as we close out that round.
That was absolutely incredible. Forsyth takes the game 8-0. We'll go to game 2 here in just a little bit. But, I mean, for the Mammoths, I mean, like I said, I thought their play was, for the most part, very sound. The problem, as you mentioned, is that there were 10 demolitions against them. You got to olay those demos, because if you don't, and Meow's a player who knows when to demo in rotation properly, not just go out there just blowing people up just for the sake of the medal. So when you get demoed, usually that means there's an open net opportunity.
And I want to say demolitions is what, 3 seconds or 2 seconds before respawn occurs?
I think it's 3.
So that's a grand total of 30 seconds where there was only 2 players on the field. That is a huge difference, even if it is a 5-minute long round. Not being able to play for 30 seconds obviously just puts you at a huge disadvantage. So hopefully for the Mammoths, they take a page out of Meow's book and start blowing up the other side when they're on those offensive pushes.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because if we compare it to most games we see here that have some sort of mechanic like that, you know, like League of Legends or Overwatch, Call of Duty, the respawns feel like in Rocket League they're like a snap. But in Rocket League, it feels like in eternity. You're just like, well, because first you have to watch the demo, which is always just the most, you're like, oh, that's where they were. And then you have to wait. So, I mean, it's just one of those things. Like you said, I think it's the perfect way. If the Mammoths just didn't play for the first 30 seconds, I guarantee you Forsyth would probably score 8 goals. And that is what happened, is they didn't get to play for 30 seconds over the course of the game.
So now the Mammoths just have to turn it around and do the exact same same thing back, but they cannot risk getting double demoed, and that's when you blow yourself up and the other person up.
Yeah, as you see, we'll kick off game 2. Buddy, oh, they tried to combo for a great play. Ball just high, and now Vibe with an opportunity, 1 man to beat. Pops it up in the air. Meow makes a great save, though, and Buddy's going to take over now as the demolitions. They start early on here, just 15 seconds into the game with our first explosion.
We do see we've got a double commit here down in the corner from the side of the Mammoths with Meow following up with that shot. DJ tries to get it in, but neither one can manage to find that final right angle to get it into the goal. Now we've got Tordo following up, trying to take it away from 2 members of the side of the Mammoths. They managed to do just that, but it's still over here by Forsyth's goal. We've got Zora elevating. It just goes barely over their head with Buddy managing to get that touch into the goal for that first goal of this round.
Yeah, that was a great start for the Mammoths. You see Buddy just kind of hits it, probably not how he wanted, and we've seen that time again in Rocket League where sometimes the wrong play ends up being the right play, because at these levels, everyone's anticipating you make the correct play. So great job there by Buddy to set that one up. Zydra there, the new player for the Mammoths, with great win off the kickoff. Buddy ends up corralling it, though. Meow's probably looking for somebody to go boom in the goal. Not quite able to find it. Buddy's shot is turned away. Ball right in front of the net. Tordos with a huge save, though, and chance for a counterattack here for the Mammoths.
The Mammoths are starting to do this weird double commit here in the goal when they're on the defensive, just pinching off the player, praying that ball doesn't end up ricocheting into the goal while they're trying to push away that one person. So far, it's worked out in their favor. No goals have been scored thus far when they've managed to do that technique. But now we've got Ariana down here just booping around players from the members of the Mammoths to prevent them from doing anything, allowing Buddy to get another goal.
Unfortunately, the Mammoths also couldn't get out of their own way. I think it was Zydra and one of their other players combined a couple of times to stop that clear, and that kind of set up Buddy with that free goal. But that'll happen. Zydra is a new player on the roster, but making it to this bracket play definitely makes it seem like they might be that missing piece going forward. As you see, a very odd approach on the kickoffs for Forsyth. Nobody went for the ball, and a great job recognizing that by the kickoff taker for the Mammoths and not hitting it right towards them. As Buddy puts a shot in just a little bit wide.
We've got Meow over here trying to follow it up. They're going to rotate back towards the back post, realizing DJ has a great opportunity to get a goal in right here, but Zydra's going to leave it, read that one perfectly, knocking it away. Ariana's already rotated back towards the goal. Buddy has as well. There's the demolitions we're talking about, but unfortunately that puts Meow in a bad position for the follow-up, so despite the demo, they won't get that goal.
That's the tricky thing with demos. You can't just go for them. You got to make sure they're well-timed. DJ TJ gonna double tap it in, but Meow saved it! Oh no, it was a team save for Meow, and that is one that's got to be very unfortunate. They'll get revenge with the demo, and DJ TJ still scores, but a little bit sloppy here in game 2 for Forsyth.
I think Meow was going for a demo there, but didn't quite get the touch off on it right. And also that demo that occurred from Meow at the last second was not just a solo demo. There was 2 that they blew up right next to each other. So they were down 2 people all at the same time. That is never a position you want to be in because no one's going to be able to rotate into position in time. As we see another demolition come out over here as Blue is putting on this onslaught on the orange goal.
The Mammoths have done a much better job, dodging those demos for the most part, and also defensively, as you mentioned, they've been a bit more double committee, but it's worked out. We see DJ TJ sets it up for Buddy. He's going to pop it up in the air. They did a great job dodging Meow, and now it's a wide open net. Tordos in a one-on-one.
Go Tordos, come on.
Oh, Vibes is going to put it home. And the Mammoths are on the board, and they're within striking distance. A great play by Tordos, honestly.
DJ was there, they read that first touch great, but then they backed off into the goal, allowing for the follow-up to get that goal in finally. And sometimes it's like that. You save one shot, you can't save the second one, you got to take your pick, and unfortunately, if you don't, either one could have been a goal, so.
Buddy's going to take that one back. He'll get a hat trick, and we just see right off the kickoff, he reads this perfectly, just bounces it around Zydra, and just a little too strong, and Buddy can do that to you. He can score just like that whenever he wants.
We've seen Buddy take it off the back wall above their own goal, be their clearing shot, the assist, and the goal shot all at once. As we see another demo coming out from Meow here at the goal, and them getting their own goal and an assist from Buddy right there. That is beautiful. That's taking advantage of the game mechanics to the highest degree, in my opinion. And I am so sorry, Mammoths. I know you want to be able to play the game because in total, we are pushing almost 20 demolitions in 2 rounds.
Yeah, also a great shot placement, upper left post. That's so hard to defend. Unfortunately, at the kickoff, even with that, nowhere near the play, Meow still finds a way to get a huge demolition. Like, that is what they're gunning for. They don't go for boost like we see most people. They're like, I see Tordos in the corner. I'm just going to take him out.
Oh, that's just evil.
They have their eyes on demolitions. If it wasn't for that goal-scoring animation, I wish we could track it with the medal, but that would throw off the tabulations there. As Tordos with a great play. Zydra makes a huge save there. And we'll see if the Mammoths maybe set up a clear, but of course, why would I doubt that Meow's just going to get a demolition before I can stop talking?
My body is chrome, my blood is gasoline!
They are insane, but oh, Vibes!
Yes!
Gets it in! Mammoths keeping it close. 4 goals in a minute and a half. I mean, we've seen that's possible. Swerve put up 5 and 40, so it's possible for these Esports Tower teams to put in a goal-scoring effort to maybe tie this game.
I have faith. There's hope. They can do it. Come on. Come on, Mammoths. You got this.
And a good kickoff here to start. Meow's going to pass it over to Buddy, who just barely inches it past. Tordos makes a great stop, though. Forces DJ TJ's shot wide. Meow will corral it, though. Zydra can actually try and chase for it. Now Tordos wheels that ball was way too quick. There's the exterminator from Meow.
Oh my gosh.
As they get another extermination medal in this series, and that ball just barely floating in front of the net. And Meow will eventually take credit for the goal.
That puts us at 20 demos in 2 matches. The Mammoths at this point, I'm sure just want to not be getting hit by Meow,
Yep.
and they're just vengeance and absolute bloodthirsty gameplay that we have coming out right now. Just dodge Meow. Just oh my, never mind.
You can't. The man is everywhere. They Well, DJ TJ's even going to join in on the demolition fun. Tordos plays it around a couple, though. He gets it around Buddy there, set himself up with an opportunity. With a minute left, does get the ball stolen away. Zydra now chasing over. Tordos and Vibes have had some great performances. So has Zydra, the new player, but it really has just come down to the fact that DJ TJ picks up a hat trick. They just haven't had the opportunity to play the game as much as Forsyth has.
A grand total of a whole minute spent just waiting for respawn has to be probably one of the most irksome experiences as a Rocket League player. I personally cannot relate. I typically am, stuck with the overtime 13-second timer in Overwatch. As we see yet another demolition come out, allowing Ariana to take that ball up to the mid, but it's going to be redirected, and Vibes is waiting here right now to take the ball away from Buddy, but Buddy just gets in the mind of Vibes and prevents that from happening as we see another demolition come out from DJ TJ on Tordos.
Oh, Buddy tried for the little deke shot there, wasn't able to find it. 30 seconds left. DJ TJ gonna center it up for Buddy. He'll take a shot, hit off the crossbar, and DJ TJ ends up deflecting it as Forsyth's gotten in their way. Just a little bit too much. Also, gotta watch out. Their love-hate relationship with the crossbar has sometimes tilted this team maybe just a little bit too much as Buddy takes a shot off the crossbar. DJ TJ hits the crossbar. Meow just goes wide, and that should be how this semifinal ends, with the crossbar being hit multiple times.
1 second remaining. That ball's just got to drop and hit the ground. We might see some fancy work happening, but there is none, and that leaves Forsyth Central as the victors, coming out with a grand total of, oh my gosh, 23 demolitions across 2 rounds.
That is absolutely insane. That is not a number you hear very often. 23, I mean, we usually 23 demos in like a night of Rocket League. It is appropriate. So, good job, Mammoth. It really is unfortunate because, I mean, how do you prep for this? How do you prep for 23 demolitions? You just don't.
You can't.
Well, going at it alone can only get you so far. Ultimately, if you want to increase your success, you have to level up your teaming skills. We just saw that with the Mammoths. They brought in a new player in Zydra. They took a couple weeks off to get the team on the same page, and they made it to the semifinals for the first time in this Rumble. And if it wasn't against Forsyth Central, who knows what could have happened. Forsyth has just elevated themselves to a different level. You can see how far the Mammoths have come since the last time we saw them. Esports Tower takes a great time to create well-matched teammates. Give a shout out to Coach Jake as well. And if you haven't checked out the Esports Tower Club, you should. It's a fast way to rank up. As we see, Forsyth Central has advanced. They are now looking to equal St. John's Bosco as the second team ever to win back-to-back championships. The question is, do they have to take down St. John's Bosco to do it? They will got our next semifinal. Swerve, St. John's Bosco. It's coming up next, Nerdy, and this should be a very, very good semifinal.
I am excited to see what the Swerve are bringing to the table for this match against St. John's Bosco. As I said previously, St. John's likes to do these high shots off the ceiling and tee off goals from one another using the off-the-wall shots. And honestly, I feel like the Swerve are probably one of the most well-equipped teams to deal with that aerial gameplay and play the disruption as much as possible to shut that down.
Well, we will find out. Will it be a rematch of St. John's Bosco and Forsyth from our group play? Will the Swerve make their first championship appearance? Find out next after the break.
news says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire.
I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives.
And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
Bagel and the other bagel were all grouping up with me for comp. We were having some fun time. It was really cool.
Welcome back into this broadcast of the Esports Tower Rumble from the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. We just saw Forsyth Central bully their way into the championship. 23 demolitions, a majority of them coming from Meow with back-to-back extermination medals. They're looking to go back-to-back championships as well. Now they got to find out who they are going to play. Will it be the Swerve looking for their first championship appearance? Will it be St. John's Bosco, who's looking to go 3 for 3? 3 appearances in the Rumble, 3 championships. So far, they're 2 for 2. They took last week off. Right now, a little bit rusty, but they're still in our semifinals. If you are new and just join us every week, our Esports Tower teams join some of the best high school teams in the nation in a standalone bracket, round robin through group play. Top teams from the groups advance to the bracket where we had just semifinal number 1 wrap up. Semifinal number 2 is right around the corner, Nerdy. It's a best of 3, and I think St. John's Bosco has to be the favorite. They've only lost 1 game ever in the Rumble. They've always won a championship when they participated, but I think the Swerve might give them a run for their money, and I would not be shocked if we maybe get a 3-game series here.
I am hoping for the full 3-game series because that means both teams were absolutely trying and playing their hearts out, which is exactly what I love to see in esports. Everybody knows that my heart is in this world absolutely 100%. And so I know you said that St. John's Bosco is kind of like the favorite, the shoo-ins get to the finals. But I'm still going to be rooting on the Swerve here. They took a leave of absence a little bit. They've adjusted their roster, and they're coming out swinging. I have faith in this team to at least put up St. John's to like a run for their money and make sure that this match is nothing more than like maybe a 1-goal scoring differential type of opportunity for St. John's to come out on top, or even the Swerve. And, you know, the Swerve did take a few weeks off, so that means that the ability for outside schools, outside of Esports Tower, if they do choose to scout and try to do things in that regard, I'm not so sure about how much scouting goes into this sort of thing. But, you know, you can't really scout a team that just kind of got a whole new roster put together and hasn't been, you know, showing up into the Esports Tower scene until kind of like being the Batman of the world. Like, now my time is needed. I am here, so to speak. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to give St. John's Bosco a run for their money.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is going to come down to how St. John's Bosco responds. It will be St. John's Bosco, the Esports Tower Spur, but in the group play, St. John's Bosco lost their first game, their first series ever. They were 7 or 8-0 in the Rumbles all time before they lost to Forsyth Central, and we've seen this in other sports. I mean, how do you respond when no one can beat you, finally somebody upsets you, and then you say, well, what happened? Do you kind of, stagger around a little bit, or do you get right back up stronger than ever? And we're about to find out here. What are these teams? Gets to play Forsyth Central in this week's Rumble Championship, and we're going to find out as the Swerve and St. John's Bosco kick off right now. Fear Classic going to send it over to Slayer. I don't know how he got a nose on that ball. I thought he missed. Instead, he sets up Fear Classic for a great goal. I thought he missed that ball. 100% I thought he missed.
I think they did. It just happened to bounce to the back left as they leaped over. I really don't think they got a touch on it.
Yeah, it did not look like they got a touch on it. Also, excuse our graphical error, the Swerve do not have 4 players. Fifth Killer just listed twice there, so they are not 4v3ing the side of St. John's Bosco as that gets shot all the way down, and Fifth Killer hits the turtle goal. We've got ourselves a tie game.
Can you explain to me what the turtle, is that from doing it from being upside down?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that is pretty impressive. And we have ourselves, as you said, we thought this could be a close series, and so far it is Fifth Killer, who's new to the team, alongside Jocks, who transitioned over from the Barracudas, and of course Dapu, who's been there for a while and is a very solid player, all combining to make the Swerve a very tough team. As Dapu takes a shot, Fear Classic with the save. Turbo gonna hit it towards midfield. He's got Fear Classic on the setup. You mentioned those aerial plays St. John's Bosco does so well. That time it just falls a bit short.
Yeah, Jox has definitely been one of those players who's capable of going in the air and challenging someone up there without, you know, messing up their own ability to maintain possession of the ball. And so having someone who can do that is a great way to make sure you disrupt St. John's Bosco, as we do see yet another goal being scored right there for the Swerve.
Yeah, St. John's Bosco could just not clear that ball out of their own end. Fifth Killer takes advantage and gives the Swerve a 2-1 lead here. And we'll see if they can hold it up. And we are only 50 seconds gone by. Kickoff here. Fifth Killer not able to win it. Jox will try and chase down Fear Classic, who keeps the ball alive right in front of the net for the Swerve. Jox able to make a great play, clear it away. He's got Turbo to deal with. He'll lose possession of the ball as well.
And we do see that Slayer popped in, managing to boop the ball against that back wall. Unfortunately, there wasn't anyone there from their side for the follow-up, and we're going to have Fear Classic elevate to try and knock the ball away, and it ends up getting scored regardless.
Yeah, unfortunately, just a double commit here for the side of the Swerve. You'll see both Fifth Killer and Jox jump for the ball. Nobody back in the net to try and cover the shot, and just an excellent job there by Fear Classic to tie this game at 2-a-side. But again, these teams look incredibly evenly matched. They're playing for a date in the championship. Turbo barely muscles past Dapu. There's our first demolition. Jock's gonna get it onto Slayer, and fortunately Fear Classic keeps this ball alive right in front of the net. Oh, couldn't quite land to pinch it into the goal.
It does get popped in the air by Turbo, but then the follow-up right there from one of the members of the Swerve, I do believe it was Dapu's, is going to knock it right back down in front of them. Fear Classics looking to elevate to knock the ball away from a couple members of the Swerve. However, it lands right in front of them yet again, allowing them to knock it all the way back towards the blue goal, as we see all three members of St. John's over here by this ball.
Fear Classic makes a great save. Dapu's going to keep it alive, though, trying to play his own rebound, but Fear Classic elevates. Fifth Killer has a great chance here. Can't find it. Jox just hits the crossbar, though, and now Slayer has a great opportunity. He's going to launch it all the way down. Turbo setting up for the double tap. Can't quite keep it alive. Fear Classic with the center. Bumps somebody out of the way, but there's no way in rotation. St. John's Bosco will just have to give up on that opportunity.
We see Slayer elevate to try and get a tip on that ball, but they just barely miss it. However, Turbo comes flying in to score that cross-map goal.
Perfect read there from Turbo. He has been electric for St. John's Bosco and just puts it home, and just like that, they're back in the lead, but there's still plenty of time for the Swerve if they want to get back in it.
St. John's may not be playing those off-the-wall shots for themselves, especially because that one came out of the Swerve, but they can still play them in the air. That's something to keep in mind. If you're not trying to allow them to have opportunities to get shots on goal, don't pop that ball too high unless you're ready to knock it down yourself.
Slayer's going to try and carry this one all the way to the other side. Fear Classic follows him up. Double commit does come out there from Dapu and Fifth Killer. They are able to recover those. Jox gets it back towards midfield. Fear Classic squares it up, passes it over to Slayer's up in the air. They've got Turbo waiting for the team goal. Oh! And they won't even need it. Slayer gives it a 2-goal lead for St. John's Bosco.
We still have a little bit less than 2.5 minutes remaining, though. Two goals of that time coming out from the Swerve to even this up is not something that would be unheard of, especially because, you know, they put up 5 goals in 40 seconds in an earlier round.
Yes.
So it's still anybody's game.
Yeah, the Swerve looked to be one of the strongest late-game teams in this week's Rumble. Dapu thought he had a free one. Great read by Fear Classic, though, to stay home on the kickoff. Ball gets cleared all the way over to the other side of the orange field, where Slayer is chasing after it, looking for a demolition. Dapu barely going to jump out of the way of that one. But unfortunately, no scoring opportunity quite yet for the Swerve.
We do have Turbo trying to corral the ball away from a couple members of the Swerve right there. Slayer's trying to outplay. It looks like Jox there in the corner. Ultimately, Slayer's going to manage to elevate, taking it off the sidewall. We've got Turbo elevating as well. It's going to drop right in front of the members of the Swerve, however, leaving Doppus to take it up the wall. But Fear Classic's going to be there and redirect it themselves, trying to get it dribbled into the goal, and it's going to be disrupted just enough to knock it to the side.
Oh, Slayer's going to end up rebounding that one for Dapu, who's going to hit it trying around Fear Classic. Can't quite find it. Demolition off screen onto Dapu. And now Slayer with a pass from Turbo. Going to pass it right back. Shot on the net. I got nothing for you there. I don't know how you defend a 4-pass attack here from Turbo and Slayer.
Jox was just a little bit too short right there. They missed it by, like, just the front little bit of their car. It's always unfortunate. 3 goals, 90 seconds. I have faith in the Swerve to bring this one back, but it is still a best of 3, so even if this one does not turn in their favor, they still have other chances to bring it back. Jox gets a shot on goal, but unfortunately it's going to be cleared all the way back towards the orange goal. Dapus will elevate and try to knock it away, but they're going to miss it. Turbo's going to corral it down here in the corner, and ultimately Dapus will get that touch to clear it over towards the blue goal as Slayer knocks it down into the corner.
Slayer going to get credit for that save. Is now gets cleared all the way back over the other side. 1 minute left. Fear Classic kind of gets it around Jox. Gets a help from his teammate. Ball right in front of the net. Dapu makes a great save. Jox just going to clear it away from St. John's Bosco. But Turbo's right there looking for his own goal. Not able to find it. Slayer and Fear Classic both go after it. Fear Classic gets the shot. He gets the hat trick. And that should put the game out of reach.
It's all right. To the Swerve, if you're listening, you still have another opportunity. Just, you know, reset, relax, treat these next 45 seconds as a means to evaluate how St. John's Bosco is operating, as we see that 50-50 go in favor of St. John's Bosco as Dapu's unfortunately over-rotates, knocking that ball away, but Jockstrot's there for the save anyway, getting that clean bicycle. Slayer takes out Jockstrot in the form of demolition as the ball gets knocked back towards the midfield.
30 seconds left. Turbo clears it in front of the net. Swerve go chasing, looking for a goal to maybe establish some things going forward into game 2 as Dapu sets it up for Jox, not quite able to find it. Ball goes over the head of Fifth Killer, and Fear Classic will demo him. Jox will end up demoing Slayer, though, as he gets the shot, allowing him to make the save. But Turbo will slam it home, and as time ticks down, St. John's Bosco will put an exclamation mark on this game. Barely for Turbo sneaking that one home.
I honestly didn't think that was going to go in, but it happens. It's okay. Like I said, you still got time, Swerve. You got plenty of time.
Yeah, they've got a whole second game here. They just got to make sure they don't let this scoreline, a bit inflated, I think, go to their head. Because, I mean, it was 2-2. 2 minutes and 30 seconds into this game, this Fifth Killer gets a demolition onto Slayer. I mean, they held their own for the first half with St. John's Bosco. So, I mean, the Swerve have got to feel like if they can maybe keep the ball out of the air, because that is one of St. John's Bosco. I mean, you mentioned it, Nerdy, right away. That's one of the best things they do. They make unfavorable 50-50s on any aerial ball. Just, it's so hard to stop them in the air.
I honestly do not know what sort of geometry classes these students took in order to be able to evaluate every single one of these shots in mid-flight to get those goals.
Yep.
But anytime that ball is about 50%, like about halfway up into the air as far as the arena height, the box goes, they will take a shot on goal, and about 75% of the time it goes in. So that's something that for the Swerve they need to keep in mind. Yes, they have a great aerial player in the form of Jockstrot, who is Jox currently, because everyone likes to change their names around a little bit. They have that opportunity to enable that player to get those goal-scoring opportunities as well.
Yep.
However, maybe just relying on Jox to be the disruption when St. John's Bosco is going for those aerial plays is the better bet, and playing more for the defense to turn offensive play as opposed to just trying to constantly create those goal-scoring opportunities for themselves.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw the Swerve have that the ability to score goals in bunches. I mean, 5 goals in 40 seconds in one of our group play games, absolutely incredible. I mean, St. John's Bosco, they have one goal in mind, though. They want to get back to the championship. They want to take down Forsyth Central. So they're playing really, really strong in the second half of that game. But like I said, you pause that game, 2.5 minutes gone by, it was 2-2. The Swerve proved they could hold with St. John's Bosco, but once the wheels come off, you're pushing for balls, you're going to let more goals go in. So I think the Swerve have a great chance here in this game. They just got to keep the ball out of the air in front of their own net.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, Jox, but you just honestly got to go in the air and just hit people. I know it's not that nice. Just do it, though.
Yeah, we did. I mean, we saw a couple, but I mean, the difference in demolitions from our first semifinal to this semifinal is quite shocking.
Yeah, just to put it in perspective for everyone, that last match, as we mentioned, had 23 demolitions by the end of both of the first and second games, 10 in the first, 13 in the second. This one has 6 in total, 3 for each team. That's not a whole lot in comparison to 10 for one side.
No, and so whoever wins this matchup has got to be ready for those demolitions. So
yeah.
Maybe if they start demoing each other, it's actually good practice for either the Swerve or St. John's Bosco who wins, because Forsyth Central is going to demo you. They already know that. Everybody probably knows that at this point. So maybe throwing in some demos for the Swerve might let you be able to put yourself in favorable situations. It also kind of helps you practice because you're going to be in a 2-on-3 quite a lot. So we'll see with Game 2 kicking off in any moment if the St. John's Bosco can get back to the championship or if the Swerve can take us to a Game 3. And the Swerve, like a lot of these sports power teams, they take a couple weeks off, but they get better when they take those weeks off. And they have done a great job focusing on improving this roster with Jox now on it, with Fifth Killer now on it. This is a very strong team who, even if they don't win this, is definitely a consistent contender to make semifinals going forward in any future Rumbles, I have to think.
I would honestly want to say that we could possibly see them coming out as an Esports Rumble champion within the next couple of weeks if they keep up the improvement that they've shown thus far. We do see that 50-50 go in favor of the Swerve. Jox managed to get more of a touch on it than anybody else. It does, however, get redirected ultimately by Slayer right there, and it's going to be followed up by Turbo. Jox is going to knock it to the right of their own goal. Fear Classic is looking to get a touch on it right here, but the follow-up right there from Slayer might have been a slight double commit, a little bit of confusion. Shot on goal, but it just is going to get bounced wide by that crossbar.
Turbo's going to set something up, not able to find it. Jock will pop it in the air over to Fifth Killer in the corner. Ball takes a funky hop. Dapu and Fifth Killer actually collide, preventing the swerve from finding any clear. Finally, Fifth Killer gets a save and a booming clear down into the corner. Plays it around Slayer. Opportunity here with Fear Classic. Solid defender, as always. Clears it around Jox as well. Trying to set up Turbo. They'll bump Dapu out of the way, but the ball gets caught up in that kind of pinball crossfire, and it's going to die out right near midfield.
We did have Fear Classic manage to get a redirect on it, but all three members of St. John's 2 were going the opposite direction. It definitely slowed them down on turning around, and it allowed for the swerve to get a great push over towards the blue goal. However, the redirect still going to keep it here at the mid. We've got Fear Classic with the follow-up from Slayer getting a shot towards the goal. Redirected right there by Fifth Killer, though, beautifully, as we do see Fear Classic coming in off of a demolition out from Slayer onto Jox, allowing them to get a goal.
And there's that demolitions providing. We also look like Slayer got a bump as well on the Dapu. So he didn't get credit for 2 demolitions, but kind of disrupted that play and gets our first goal of the game set up for Fear Classic. See what the swerve could do in response as Jox wins that takeoff cleanly. Turbo in the perfect position though. Gonna try and carry it towards midfield. Pass over to Fear Classic, takes the shot. It's a little bit too high, but now an opportunity. A little over aggressive here from St. John's Bosco. Jox, if he can center it, would have had an opportunity, just needed to be a little bit faster.
We do see a demolition come out onto Jox right now, so there is an opportunity for St. John's to turn this ball around. However, the respawn has already happened, so now it is a 3v3 once again. We do see that Jox is going to get some disruption play. We get the ball knocked down almost right in front of the goal, but Fear Classic reads it perfectly and redirects it. Dapus is waiting, though, on the wall to try and dribble it in, as we do see Fear get another demo onto Jox.
Turbo makes a huge save there, but the pressure's still on. Finally, the ball gets cleared to the orange half. And Fear Classic in the corner. Can't quite play it around Dapu, but forces a bad touch. Turbo will take a shot. Ball gets cleared all the way down. It's a one-on-one. Slayer with a great clear. Jox, though, recenters it. Fifth Killer has to back off, though, as Turbo takes a shot, looking for his own rebound. Not able to find it. Slayer going to pass it over to Turbo. He was just going the wrong way. Ends up hitting the ball in the wrong direction. Now Dapu with a great opportunity. Plays it around 1. But gets stopped there, but Jox can't quite hit it.
We got the follow-up right there from Fifth Killer, though, and unfortunately Turbo's going to get a nice hit onto it. It does get centered up by Jox. No one's there to follow it up, though. Slayer's going to end up taking it down here into the corner. We do see that we had some disruption coming out right there in the form of Fifth Killer, but Fifth Killer's not, unfortunately, going to be able to keep possession of that ball. We have Dapu's now trying to take this up the left side. They get a pass over to Fifth Killer. Is it just a little bit too fast and too far? They're forced to play it off the wall, and we've got multiple members of St. John's there, but ultimately, Jox gets the goal, and we have just a little over 2 minutes left in a 1-1 game. Honestly, I think, you know, the swerve probably took a deep breath, drank some water, maybe had some chips or something, because they're playing like they're St. John's Bosco right now.
Yeah, they have kept this series incredibly close. Now they just got to make sure they can pull ahead in this series, as Slayer now has to corral it above the net. Dapu with a great challenge. Can he set up a teammate? No. Slayer will do a great job just clearing that one away. Defensively, St. John's Bosco is incredibly talented as well. Fear Classic hits it down towards midfield. Dapu is there, but Fear Classic just steals it away from him. We've got Turbo near midfield. The Fifth Killer able to prevent that pass. Turbo makes a great save. Jox and him go chasing after the ball. Still on the blue side. Dapu with an opportunity. Bounces it on net. Double commit comes out. Fear Classic makes a save. One more chance. Just a bit too far in front.
Jox just barely missed that touch on the ball. Fifth Killer also barely missed it. We do have Dapu, so already rotated back towards the goal, managing to get that nice save from that goal shot from Turbo. Fear Classic's going to try to play it off the wall. Turbo's going to get a demolition out onto Fifth Killer, so we're down a man right now for a couple of seconds. That drop shot, unfortunately, will not go in from Slayer, as it's already being taken back up onto the blue side.
Turbo going to play it off the ceiling. He's got Fear Classic trying to be a bit of a distraction there. Ball ends up bumping right into the hands of Slayer. Looking for the double tap, just dumped too high. Fear Classic shot turned away. Slayer can't quite recover it. Neither can Fear Classic. Ball hanging out in front of that net. Dapu finally gets the clear. Now trying to carry it down by himself. One man to beat Slayer. Reads that one easily, and Fifth Killer can't quite make the stop, and Jox will corral it with 30 seconds.
I think Jox is going to look to take it up the side, but Slayer's going to say no to that as they pinball it off of them, and the follow-up from Turbo is going to be just enough to find that one leading goal for the side of St. John's Bosco with just a little over, I want to say 32 seconds right now remaining. If we see an early goal here from the side of the Swerve, that could be the equalizer to take us into overtime.
Yeah, so plenty of time for the Swerve. They just got to be careful as Dapu wins the kickoff. Slayer will try and carry it down, and there's a demolition from Fear Classic onto Dapu. His fifth killer can't quite center it up. Jox might have an opportunity, though. The ball was just too wide of the net. And Slayer's going to try and clear this one down. Dapu will keep it alive. Jox can't quite get there in rotation in time. Turbo misses the ball the first time. Fifth killer steals it away, punishes Turbo. We got a tie game.
All right, 11 seconds. We have seen both these teams able to score a goal in just minute amounts of time. So it really is going to come down to which team plays the better defense and plays smarter during these next 11 seconds in order to take us into overtime. Honestly, I would love to see it go that far, as we do see the kickoff go in favor of the Swerve, with Jox getting a great touch on that. However, it still ends up being right in front of the Swerve goal, and St. John's Bosco finds that game-winning goal. Yeah,
Turbo atoning for his missed possession that let the game get tied. Still 5 seconds left, 4 seconds left for the Swerve. Definitely doable. I mean, we saw Turbo just do it right there. As Dapu hits it in! We thought we might see one goal in the last 11 seconds. How about two? And now we might be trending towards overtime, but there's still a kickoff left to be taken.
I hope there isn't a free open goal kickoff like that. No repeats, guys. You get one mulligan. We do see Jox get the win on that one, but Slayer is going to bring it back with a demo and another demo coming out right after that. Doesn't matter. We're in overtime. It's golden goal. Whoever gets this first goal wins out this round. It will be either St. John's Bosco walking away with the lead or taking us into a game 3 in the form of the Swerve.
Oh,
and Jox carries it all the way in. Holy cow, you are an animal. That was insane and beautiful. That is what I love to see from you, Jox. As we said, you are a great aerial player. And that is you just showing off your prowess. Nicely done. We are now going to be going into a game 3.
That was absolutely incredible from both teams, honestly. I mean, Turbo looking like he had scored the game winner with 5 seconds left. That Dapu maintains his composure on the kickoff. A bit of a misplay there for St. John's Bosco, and then Jox just buries it home. Only 8 seconds into overtime. We didn't even have to worry that much. So we will go to a game 3. I mean, so I talked about these teams feel incredibly close. I mean, I think that game 1 scoreline was more just a product of the Swerve falling behind by a couple goals and trying to push. And we've seen it time and time again. When you're pushing, when you have all 3 members up, you can allow easy goals in. So this is going to be a very, very tight series between both these teams. And it's really going to come down to whichever team makes the least amount of mistakes, because both teams kind of had a handful of mistakes that allowed that game to go as crazy as it did in the final 30 seconds.
I'm not going to lie. I feel like the Swerve, for their best opportunity here, is to basically enable Jox to get those nice clean shots on the goal, make sure that someone else is rotating back, not leaving Jox to have to do it, because at least when it comes to actually beaming that ball in, ensuring the goal, Jox is the player to do it. They just need to make sure they have one follow-up and someone who's able to back them up back on their own goal, and that just comes down to making sure your comms are open and you've got clean rotations, and I definitely have faith in the Swerve to do that, but they still have to, disable St. John's Bosco and those aerial plays as much as possible.
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing is they've got to make sure, and they did a good job in game 2, as you mentioned. They got to try and keep the ball on the ground in front of their net. Anytime that ball got up in the air, we saw it with Turbo with 11 seconds left. There was no contesting it. Turbo had a spectacular goal that should have been a game winner, and unfortunately just didn't work out that way. But it's game 3. Somebody's going to a championship. It's going to be the Swerve in their first appearance, St. John's Bosco in their third. The Slayer can't quite find the shot. Fifth killer looking for the ball. Jox will actually end up going after it. He'll clear it down, but all 3 members of St. John's Bosco realized that, and they were already retreating.
We did see Turbo get a nice touch on it, but Fifth Killer will be there for the follow-up, redirecting it towards the blue goal. It's going to drop right in from across the field, and that had to feel good for Fifth Killer.
I don't know how this ball went in. I thought this would be an easy save for Fear Classic.
I did too, but it just barely drops down right in front of the gravity's no one's friend in video games or in real life, being honest. And definitely right there, that my heart goes out to you, Slayer. I feel that.
Now let's see, as we see Jox, the huge demolition, Can they defend? We talked about it. Can't let that ball be in the air for too long. And Turbo, he takes a great pass from Slayer. I mean, look at that vision to find him in the middle of the field for an open net.
Even with the demolition, man down, don't matter. We had Slayer be like, I got it.
My life for the goal. Willing trade there for Slayer. And Fifth Killer now wins the kickoff quite cleanly. Jocks gets a demolition. Dapu trying to take advantage of it.
Woo! Nice.
Wow.
That was
huge.
Beautiful.
I mean, in the angle, too, that ball barely sneaks in.
They got it just over Fear Classic, too. Fear was just a little bit too underneath that ball before they hit that flip. And unfortunately, timing that's so difficult in the heat of the moment, and it didn't work in their favors. We see the 50-50 go in favor of Jocks. Fear Classics there for the follow-up. However, the Swerve are not letting this push happen easily. They're all here bouncing around, disrupting the members of St. John's Bosco. We do see Dapu trying to play off the wall away from Turbo. It's now in the high position in the mid-zone, the dangerous zone for the side of the Swerve. If you're St. John's Bosco, it's a tasty shot opportunity. We see Slayer go in, but Jocks just barely beats them to the ball, redirecting it to the mid.
Fifth Killer's going to pop it up in the air. Turbo with a rare miss, and Fear Classic will miss as well. Great play by Jocks. See Dapu's not able to quite find it. Dapu's shot goes wide. Fifth Killer was in a great spot, but a huge demolition by Turbo to take that chance away. Now Turbo wants to carry it all the way down. Dapu's going to ground it. Fear Classic finds it, though. St. John's Bosco's got us in a tie game.
That's all right. It's now 0-0, both teams. No one's got any goals. It doesn't matter that there's 2 on the board for each of you. It now just comes back to playing those defensive rotations properly and getting those goal-scoring opportunities. Hey, look, fish on you.
Whoa! That'd be a free. It's not quite Freaky Friday. So we see here is Slayer now tries to clear it down to Turbo. Jocks with a great steal. Fifth Killer to Jocks.
That was some
it hit the post, but Dapu! Oh, Slayer saves it. That would have been incredible. That was a fantastic play from the Swerve, but they got to be careful as they full committed. Dapu makes a huge save. No! Jocks' momentum carries him into the ball.
It's okay, Jocks.
Oh, Dapu made a huge save, and it's just one of those, you're running so hard, you're like, oh, oops.
It's okay, just take it back. Get it, you know, Jocks, we've seen you do it off the kickoff. Just get a kickoff goal. Just do your thing.
Plenty of time here. You can't stress too much if you're the Swerve. His Fifth Killer's gonna pop it up in the air. Slayer makes a great save, but Fifth Killer can't quite hit it back. Played around Dapu's as well. Ball's in that danger zone that we talked about. Cannot have it in the air, or things like that will happen.
We've still got 3 minutes. It's easy for either side to score multiple goals within, less than a minute time frame. We've seen it done today already once before. Jocks was just a little bit caught off guard right there for that aerial play. Honestly, we off this rotational right here from spawn, we can see that Jocks is going to have a better opportunity to get in a goal-scoring position. We see Fifth Killer is going to elevate and knock it to the mid. However, it's going to be not touched on by Jocks, and ultimately Slayer and Fear Classic will work together to get that 5th goal in. Honestly, I think for the Swerve, they need to find their momentum again.
Yeah, they had it. They came so close, and it just feels like ever since Jocks had that unfortunate touch, the wheels have started to come off. But there's still 3 minutes left. It's a team that can score in bunches in the Swerve. So they cannot field down just yet, but Slayer will win that 50-50, set himself up for a goal. He will find it. St. John's Bosco has come alive here in the last minute of this game.
And we did see that Fifth Killer was there. I think, unfortunately, their rotating back towards that back post was just a little bit too slow, not fast enough, and so they ran out of boost too quickly. We do see the off-the-wall play that St. John's Bosco likes to play off of, but Dapu's read it perfectly and was there for the disruption. Nicely done. We do see Jocks now taking it up the side. They've got their teammate there for the centering shot. Yes! That's what we're talking about. That was beautiful. Now they've just got to do that 3 more times.
A great job, great setup there over to Fifth Killer. Nobody found the demolition, just puts it in a great spot. There's still a decent amount of time left. They do not need to be concerned. We're not even halfway through this game 3. The Swerve can fight their way back slowly but surely. They don't need to worry about the time too much yet as Jocks tries to hit it down to Fifth Killer. He'll play it off the wall. Not quite sure if that was a pass or not. Jocks, though,
Jocks!
Read it perfectly. And he's got the Swerve back within 2.
That's beautiful. All of these passes, it's like you don't have to be, Jox has obviously demonstrated they can be the triple threat, they can be the save, the assist, and the goal shot, but ultimately getting those nice passes and allowing for those to happen is what's going to enable the Swerve to get these goals.
See Fifth Killer and Jox combine and clear that ball all the way down. Dapu now trying to get an opportunity. Ball does get stolen away by Slayer. Now Turbo looking for a chance on a free net. Jox makes a great save. Fifth Killer can't steal it away from Fear Classic though, and Dapu's forced to clear it away, but with how aggressive the Swerve are playing, they got to be careful. Jox sneaks it just around Turbo and Slayer, but Fear Classic's there to hit it right back and try and make a play off the wall himself, but he can't quite do it.
We did see a save right there from Dapu. We've got Fifth Killer now trying to take it up the side. They're going to leave the ball, though. Turbo's going to get a nice high shot into that back corner. Jox is going to play it down, but drop it right in front of Turbo. That might be a danger zone, as we do see Dapu's able to play it around two members of St. John's Bosco right there. Nicely done. It's now been elevated by, it looks like, Slayer right there. Unfortunately got the ball knocked towards their own goal as opposed to towards the side of Orange. We now have Fifth Killer trying to follow it up. It's just going to unfortunately be popped right over their head.
Dapu going to battle Fear Classic. They'll both get knocked off the ball, however, and Jox will end up winning that exchange. It's Fear Classic now off the backboard. Going to try and clear it down. Loses the dribble, but Fifth Killer can't quite find it. Dapu will pop it up in the air. Jox now going to take a shot. Looks like he'll force Turbo into the air. Makes a great save, but Jox is right there to punish it. Ball rolling in front of the net. Fear Classic barely hits it. Slayer makes a great save as well. We're down to a minute left.
We've got Dapu over here who read that ball drop perfectly. Played around one member of St. John's. They just have one more to beat. If only Fifth Killer had enough boost to be there fast enough. That was a great shot. We do see Jox getting another one in. Is someone going to be there for the follow-up? It'll be Jox themselves, and now we've got members of the Swerve rotating back as Fifth Killer gets a demo out onto Fear Classic, allowing Dapus to get that ball and hopefully rotate it back up towards the mid.
Time starting to become an issue for the Swerve. Jox clears it down. Fifth Killer can't beat Fear Classic to the ball. Jox misses on it, but Dapu's able to make a great save. Gets bumped around in the net, and that is going to open things up and should be the difference maker here for St. John's Bosco.
That is a hat trick right there for Slayer. I think we have more than one member on that team now with that hat trick. But, the Swerve still have a shot here. 30 seconds, a little less than 30 seconds. They can at least even up the goals. May not come out on top, but you'll come out with a lower goal differential than you expected, and that's always a feel-good moment.
See if we can find maybe one or two more here. Unfortunately, the ball going in the wrong direction as Turbo will corral it in the corner. Looks like he'll pass it back over to Slayer and Fear Classic, but Dapu stole it away.
Dapu, yes!
The Swerve. We saw 2 goals in 11 seconds. We'll see if we can get 2 goals in 8 seconds here and potentially get to overtime.
I don't know, the mind games that the Swerve were able to pull out somehow magically on that last kickoff goal. They can do that again. We could see back-to-back kickoff goals as we see this first one unfortunately go more in favor of the side of St. John's Bosco. Dapus is going to be there for the follow-up. It's going to get knocked down a lot. It's right in front of the goal. Thankfully it's knocked away and does touch down. Unfortunately, that will mean that the Swerve are out of time.
And St. John's Bosco had a battle for that one. They will come out the 2-1 winners. The Swerve gave them everything they can handle and then some. And watch out if this Swerve team gets a few more weeks, maybe even one more week of practice together. They are a force and could easily make it to the championship game of any of the upcoming Rumbles. But we will get a rematch here, and we'll see some of the best teams of the last 3 weeks. But first, don't forget, if you want to be seen by expert college recruiters, talk directly to Esports insiders like pro athletes, team general managers, and game producers, then join the club. Esports Tower players get insiders access to industry insights. With our featured Rumbles, recruiters are taking notice too. It's a great way to score exposure if you're looking to start your path to pro or land a collegiate scholarship. Well, we will have our finals here in the Esports Tower Rumble, and it will be the teams that have combined for our last 3 championships. So that streak will continue. It is Forsyth Central looking to go back-to-back, and St. John's Bosco looking to become our first Triple Crown winner. And both these teams are incredibly talented. I mean, I think the Swerve are going to look back just that. I think the wheels came off for about a minute to 2.5 minutes when Jock scored that own goal, and they just ran out of time. But that is a very talented team. They gave St. John's Bosco everything they could handle and more. And we're going to have a awesome final, I expect, Nerdy, coming up.
I expect it to be a bloodthirsty final,
yes,
honestly, because we've got Forsyth Central in this final. And They themselves are looking for yet another championship title, and they're really gunning for it based off of their performance in the last couple of rounds. I mean, 23 demolitions, that's kind of, insane, especially with, I believe, at least 15 of those coming out from Meow themselves, the demolition expert of the team. Granted, as we've mentioned, they were actually calculated demos in most cases. A couple of them were a little iffy, but you gotta be careful if you're St. John's Bosco, because Ariana has shown that they can get those demos on the ground, in the goal, right before a goal scoring opportunity for their teammates, and in mid-air flight, and even taking out two people at the same time. So that is a recipe for disaster if you are on the side of St. John's Bosco.
Yeah, these are probably two of the best high school teams in the nation. One of them is going to maybe have a run at best high school team right now in Rocket League. Find out who it's going to be. Forsyth Central, St. John's Bosco, somebody's winning another championship. Who it's going to be? Find out next.
The news says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire.
I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives.
And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full time.
While I work full time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
Welcome back into the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. It's time for the championships in this week's Esports Tower Rumble. We have a pair of talented teams gunning for another championship. Forsyth Central and St. John's Bosco have combined for our last 3 championships in the Esports Tower Rumble. St. John's Bosco run 2 in a row, took a week off. They're back in form. Forsyth Central, meanwhile, claimed their first ever championship last week. They're looking to go and join St. John's Bosco as the only teams to ever do it back-to-back. These teams are incredibly talented. They both have an argument for me best high school team in the country, Nerdy, and only one of them's going to come out here with a victory, but I expect it to be a bloodbath of the series as Forsyth Central loves their demolitions.
Well, we've mentioned this before. St. John's Bosco is one of those high schools that, there's something in the water down there because they create great teams across multiple sports, and now they're doing it in esports too, just demonstrating, we can do that also. And, that's kind of a difficult situation to go up against, got the backing of a whole school in that regard. But for the side of Forsyth Central, there's something in their water, and it's most likely radiation for Meow. They are bloodthirsty as all heck, and they, even though it seems like they're not calculated demolitions, I think maybe half the time they aren't, but they're subconsciously still very calculated. They are still able to create insane opportunities for their team. So, St. John's Bosco, I wish you luck staying alive.
I mean, Forsyth Central has done something that no other team has done. They beat St. John's Bosco in that Group A group play. It is the only loss in a series St. John's Bosco has ever taken, though the Swerve nearly had a huge upset in the semifinals. I cannot wait to see that team going forward. But right now, it's Forsyth Central. It's St. John's Bosco. It's our championship. We have another 2-time winner. We have our first 3-time Rumble winner. We are about to find out. We will move the series onto a best of 5, so we might see just a record number of demolitions that might never, ever get touched here. It is going to be absolutely insane to see, Nerdy.
I mean, if Forsyth manages to top that 23 demolitions, I will be thoroughly impressed.
They're going to get at least one more game, but we'll get Doc's keys first. Play the shot and rebound, disrupt the pathing of attackers, defend an attack boost, rotate to the back post quickly, and for St. John's Bosco in particular, olay those demos, and keep an eye on where Meow is at all times. It's presented by the Esports Tower. Score pro advice at esportstower.com. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, and improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. Game 1 of the finals is upon us. It is Forsyth Central. It is St. John's Bosco. Somebody's coming home a repeat champion. St. John's Bosco might just send everybody a message. 3 Rumbles, 3 championships. That's hard to top. Forsyth Central, 8 straight bracket appearances. Try to claim their second championship. I think this is going to be an awesome series, and I cannot wait to see how it unfolds. And Game 1 is going to go a long way in maybe telling us if St. John's Bosco is ready for Meow to pick up multiple demolitions.
I don't think anybody is ready for what Meow brings to the table in the form of just pure destruction. As we see that first kickoff go in favor of Forsyth from Meow over to DJ, we do see Buddy elevated to take the ball away from a member of St. John's Bosco. They managed to do just that. We've got 2 members of Bosco rotating back. Fear Classic is out for blood already, getting the demo out on Meow as they get rotating closer to the orange goal, but unfortunately, the respawns have already happened as we do see Meow taking the ball away.
Fear Classic try to put up a shot for himself. Turbo's right there as well. Meow does have to come in and get a little bit of a clear, but the ball's still dangerously in front of the Forsyth Central net. Fear Classic with a great play, grounds the ball underneath Meow, and that's the first goal of their finals.
Unfortunately, Turbo, I hate to say this, but after kickoff of this next one, I think we're going to see you go kaboom.
Maybe Fear Classic. I don't think Meow probably took too kindly to being the first demolition target, but we will see. They go chasing for the ball instead, not able to find it. Turbo now with a great opportunity. Ooh, huge save by Buddy. Fear Classic wants to keep that ball alive. Buddy makes another great save. Turbo just barely disrupts it.
It's dropping down right over by that Mega Boost on the right. Fear Classic still maintaining possession of that ball. We do see DJ play it off the wall. It gets popped high into the air with a follow-up from Turbo right there. Is going to manage to drop it back down onto the side of Orange. Now we do see a shot on goal, but it's just going to be hitting that crossbar. No one's best friend. DJ's trying to take this ball up. We do see Ariana managing to get a nice disruption onto one of the members of St. John's. However, it's not enough as Turbo still got a shot on goal and was saved by DJ.
Slayer going to pop it up in the corner. Great pass over to Fear Classic. Centers it up for Turbo. Wants to play it to himself. Recenters it for Fear Classic. What a little play there, but Buddy reads it perfectly and makes a great save. TJ now trying to back pass it for a teammate. Ends up just slow rolling it on net. Fear Classic with an easy save. Meow charging in. Slayer whiffed on it, but was able to fake out Meow as well, and that is going to eventually end up with DJ spiking the ball into the corner. Buddy gets bumped in the air, and unfortunately Forsyth just can't get this ball anywhere near the net.
We do see Slayer now able to elevate, taking it down the side of the field, almost getting a shot on goal, but it's going to be redirected right there by Buddy. And Buddy's going to get their own assist shot into the goal. As we've mentioned, they are a triple threat in a vehicle. They can get that clear, the assist and the shot. They did just that, and it looked like Fear Classic was not even ready to be there for it. Turbo was almost there. They just can't outbeat Buddy to that ball.
Yeah, Buddy is always a man to watch out for. If he is popping off with 2-3 goals a game, you know Forsyth Central's in a good spot. It's Slayer. Can't quite get a shot on, but he does play it around every member of Forsyth Central. Fear Classic ends up with the ball, but it cleared away by Buddy all the way back towards the other side. Slayer will ground it. Plays it around one, but here comes Meow just over the ball. Fear Classic, dangerous hit there. Pops it above the net. DJ TJ tried to put it down, but couldn't quite get there as Buddy disrupts it, but Forsyth's going to go retreating.
We do see DJ read that redirect perfectly, managing to pop it into the air, allowing it to be dropped right in front of the blue goal. Buddy's going to elevate. Unfortunately, they just were a little bit too high and too fast. It'll ultimately lead into Fear Classic ending up with the ball here in the corner as multiple members of Forsyth are trying to bounce them around to get it away from them. Slayer will pop it high into the air, playing it off the wall, sending it over to Turbo. We see Buddy backtrack with a double commit coming out from DJ TJ as well. Ultimately, Ariana will get that nice clear as it's still over here on the side of Orange with a shot on goal, and it does go in from that connecting shot from Fear Classic.
Just puts it in a great spot here. As we'll get to see here, Slayer puts it just right out the crossbar. Fear Classic sneaks it to the smallest of angles between the crossbar and Buddy. And St. John Bosco back in the lead, 2-1. Still plenty of time though for Forsyth Central off the kickoff. Buddy's gonna get hit. There's Meow's first demo. Was waiting for how long that would take to happen. And now in a 1v1 with Turbo, can't quite beat him to the ball. DJ TJ though will pinch it and clear it at least towards that midfield stripe before Slayer passing it back to himself. Not quite able to find it. See Turbo taking a shot there. Oh, Fear Classic. Oh, huge save for Buddy. DJ TJ gets a great clear as well.
And it looks like we've got Meow taking it all the way up with a follow-up from Buddy right there is just going to be enough to find that equalizer. 90 seconds remaining, and I know we said it before, but these have to be some of the top high school teams across the board, at least for us, for sure.
Yep.
They are so equally matched right now. Forsyth, I don't know what's happened with Meow. They seem to be kind of reserved with those demolitions, or they're getting delayed way too much in comparison to previous games, because only 2 people have been blown up thus far.
Yeah, I think maybe St. John's Bosco's just playing so fast. I mean, both these teams play with incredible speed that Meow's just making the conscious decision. You know, we talked about it. You can't make bad demos, especially against a team like St. John's Bosco. So that's something we want to keep an eye on as Meow nearly puts them ahead with just over a minute left, trying to set up Buddy for something, not able to find it. Fear Classic looking for the clear now. Gonna play it himself. He's got Slayer down in the corner. They read that pass perfectly, disrupted, but a double commit comes out. And DJ TJ can't quite find a clear. Now, finally, able to make a great save. Slayer steals it away. Meow elevates, misses on the ball. And that opens up an opportunity for Slayer.
That's all right. 50 seconds on the clock is still more than enough time for Forsyth to get that equalizer to bring us to a 3-3 game, or St. John's to get another goal and take us to a further lead, at least for this first match. But it's still anybody's game, as 50 seconds is a lot of time in the realm of Rocket League.
And especially depending on how this kickoff goes, that is a great kickoff for Forsyth. Turbo will retreat and ground it down right over DJ TJ. Now Meow has to be careful. Fear Classic has 8 shots in this game. That is insane. Has only converted 2 of them, and now we get a demo off screen onto Buddy, and that's going to hurt Forsyth's chances here on this possession.
We do have Slayer trying to drop it down right in front of their own goal. Fear Classic's going to help pop it right back up. Buddy is retreating right now back to that back corner with the help of DJ. They're kind of double committing on this ball. DJ gets a beautiful clear over towards the blue goal. Turbo's racing back to try and save it. They manage to get that clearing shot. Ariana's going to elevate and try to knock the ball down. Unfortunately, Fear Classic ultimately ends up with it. DJ redirects it, though. The shot is still alive over here on the blue side. Forsyth's looking for that equalizer to bring us into overtime. We've got just 3 seconds remaining. If that ball touches the ground, that is it. And it looks like St. John's Bosco will walk away with the round 1 lead.
Yeah, absolutely incredibly tight match that entire time. St. John's Bosco barely comes out with the lead. And I do think that it's something we're going to have to keep an eye on is for Meow, for those demos. It felt like since they couldn't get it, their game was a little bit rattled at times. And I think that it could be just that St. John's Bosco is playing so fast that the demos just aren't presenting themselves, because it didn't really seem like Meow really ever opted for any of them. I just think they didn't have the confidence to say, I can get a demo and not hurt my team in the long run.
So, for fun, since last week, of course, I've been keeping track of the demos in comparison to who comes out on each round. And Forsyth got 1 demolition that round, whereas St. John's Bosco got 2.
Speed. It is hard to get demolitions if you're playing this fast.
Yeah, it is difficult, but St. John's still got more opportunity to disrupt, got 1 more demolition than Forsyth. They did come out on top with 1 extra goal. So, you know, our Meow, where's the demos? Where's that, you know, demolition expert we're used to seeing? Well, let me see it. Come on, bring back the pain.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of how they slot into that team. I mean, we know Buddy's going to have a bunch of spectacular solo plays. DJ TJ fits in nicely defensively, and Meow's kind of been that, you know, enforcer type who's gotten a bunch of demolitions and set up their team. Did have a great setup for Buddy to score that second goal, but yeah, if they can take those demos out and Meow can't find a way to contribute either with passing or maybe some goals, it could really throw Forsyth Central off their game that's kind of got them to this top level. But we'll see. It's game 2. St. John's Bosco looking to go to match point. Forsyth Central wants to even up the series. We'll see how the demolitions shape out. And there's a huge one right off the rip onto Meow. And DJ TJ barely hits the crossbar and could have punished them so hard if he would have been able to convert that.
We did see Ariana also get a nice shot on goal. It got redirected to the corner. DJ got a centering shot, however, ends up in the tires of Turbo, who takes it all the way back down towards the orange goal. Meow will elevate and pop it over 1 member of St. John's Bosco, playing around 2. Now they just got 1 to beat as it goes up, and they elevate it off the wall. Turbo's now going to try to play it here to the midfield. Buddy rams into them to slow down that push. Excellent disruption play right there. Now DJ's got to be the one to corral it down. Ariana manages to get that save, bringing it over to the corner. Buddy's now going to play it off that ceiling, and a follow-up from DJ will knock it down in front of the blue goal.
Looks like Turbo's going to be able to clear that one away. Gets it around Meow. Fear Classic elevates, can't quite find it. Slayer comes in, but challenged by DJ TJ and not able to cleanly win that ball. We're back towards midfield. Turbo is there. He wants to try and carry it in, has the boost to do it. But a great challenge by DJ TJ is going to stop that one in its tracks. The ball will go back towards midfield. Slayer rips a shot on net. Great save there for DJ TJ. Another demolition for Slayer. And so far, St. John's Bosco has all the pressure.
We do see Turbo right now getting a nice centering high shot over on the orange goal. DJ plays it off that back wall. However, Fear Classic elevates to get a shot in, and it gets perfectly saved, but the follow-up from Turbo is ultimately going to lead to their first goal. However, that took 1.5 minutes, so Forsyth is still showing signs of life. They just need to clean up those rotations a little bit. We saw a few double commits occurring where they didn't need to happen, and if they just didn't have those few pinches, I feel like they can bring this one back.
Yeah, and just they got to make sure they find a way to alleviate this pressure St. John's Bosco has, and also start looking out for those demos. Slayer already has a pair of them. We see Turbo getting a bit physical there with a member of the Forsyth Central. Meow's going to try and take a shot, not able to find it. DJ TJ keeps it alive, and Slayer hits it right back. Buddy tried to clear it away, couldn't quite find it, allowing Turbo to pass it down to Slayer, recenter in front of the net. Turbo with the touch, double commit comes out, saved though, but there's nobody in front of the net. Finally, Meow goes racing over to keep the ball away and keep the lead at 1-0.
And unfortunately, Fear Classic reads that first punch perfectly and knocks it all the way back down towards the orange goal, but Buddy has a nice, clean, clearing shot. It does get knocked away. Turbo elevates to pop it back towards the midfield. A pass over to Fear Classic. Unfortunately, Slayer will pop it just a little bit too high, allowing Meow to knock it a little bit away from the goal. Turbo elevates as well with a follow-up from DJ. It drops down in front of Fear Classic. And now it's time for the turnaround as DJ manages to get it over towards the side of St. John's Bosco.
Ooh, Buddy reads that hit from Slayer well. Fear Classic plays it off the wall, but Buddy is right there. Turbo stops that one. St. John's Bosco's really limited the shot attempts so far for Forsyth Central. Just 2 for them in the first 2.5 minutes of game 2. As Meow now tries to dribble it around a couple. Slayer, though, stops them in their tracks, and we have seen this ball on the orange side quite a bit so far.
Maintaining that side control is one of those older keys of the game that we've seen before, as we see Turbo take out Buddy. So now St. John's Bosco is on that attack. They're down 1, but Buddy is already respawned, so it's time for the 3v3. Buddy has the opportunity to get this clearing shot. They managed to do it, knocking it all the way down into the corner, but Turbo's going to beat them to the ball.
So Slayer going to just barely beat Buddy to the ball. Another member of Forsyth not able to find it. DJ TJ can just barely win the 50. Meow pops it up in the air, but Turbo is there. looking to carry it down as far as he can with that boost. Great hit on the ball in the last second there to throw Buddy off his game. And Slayer just forces the ball at the net. Meow makes a great save, but we're already down in the last 90 seconds. And so far, there's only 2 shots to 8 in favor of St. John's Bosco.
We see the ball trying to get redirected right there. Meow manages to do it, but they back off to rotate back towards the goal, leaving Buddy and DJ to make this forward push off of Fear Classic, who drops it down right in front of DJ. Turbo's going to elevate and pop it over DJ, taking it past Buddy as well. We do see Buddy rotating all the way back right now, trying to play it past Turbo. Unfortunately, Turbo will stop and read that one perfectly, getting in possession of the ball here in the corner.
Oh, nice pass over to Slayer. Can't quite find it, though. Just a minute left. Fear Classic keeps it alive. Meow will pinch it. Classic's going to end up slamming it down into the ground, and Turbo's shot goes wide. Fear Classic elevating, trying to fake somebody out. Buddy wasn't falling for it, though, but we just see this pressure continuing to mount. So many shots piling up for St. John's Bosco. Finally, Meow gets the ball close to midfield. They can't make anything happen with it. We're down to 30 seconds. The ball still hasn't touched the blue side in over a minute.
The ball finally makes that crossing mark over the center field. We do see Meow right there as well as Buddy, but Turbo elevates, popping it really high back towards the side of Orange. Buddy is managing to redirect it, but it does get cleared once again to the Orange side. DJ's going to try and play it off the wall. We are down towards that 15-second mark. We just need to get a nice clean shot away from the Orange goal for Forsyth to get an opportunity to score a equalizer goal here. But with 7 seconds left, I don't think they're going to find it in this match.
Well, they're going to have to go and dribble the ball the length of the field. Buddy keeps it alive, but Meow wasn't able to adjust. And in a 1-0 game, St. John's Bosco puts themselves on match point. And I mean, we have not seen side control that suffocating in these rumbles in a while. I mean, St. John's Bosco, if you went back probably 4-1 maybe in terms of side control, I mean, they just did a great job of just never letting Forsyth find a clear.
It ends up being like that sometimes. I mean, possibly Forsyth was a little bit gassed that round. We do have to remember, though, this is a best of 5, so technically it's the first team to 3 wins. So even with 2 wins in the bank, St. John's Bosco still has to be on their A game for this next one, because if they're not, that could be the beginning of the reverse sweep, and Forsyth could find, you know, their rhythm, so to speak, from that victory if they manage to get it and pull it back for that notorious Boise State-style reverse sweep that we always love to see. It's still anybody's game, though. As we have already mentioned, though, Ariana is not getting nearly as much value out of demolitions. They haven't hardly gotten any. There was none that round coming out from Forsyth Central. However, there were multiple coming out from St. John's Bosco, so they are utilizing all game mechanics, whereas it feels like Forsyth is kind of on their back tires right now, trying to, you know, just maintain possession of the ball and prevent as many of those shots from going in as possible, because as you mentioned, they had, I want to say, 8+ goals before the last minute mark, and by the end they had over 12 goals, 12 shots on goal. Yes, it's great to have multiple shots on goal, but having multiple saves is also fantastic too. But they just need to clean up that defense and turn it into their offensive capability. Have someone ready for that offensive rotating push. Make sure you have that boost starve the heck out of St. John's Bosco.
Well, right off the kickoff, it's a much better start for the side of Forsyth Central. Well, it was until Meow gets a huge demolition. Now in a 1-on-2, DJ TJ is able to make a great save. Respawns do come out. Ball right in front of the net. A very scary spot. Slayer's shot turned away by Meow. Buddy now going to try and clear it over into the corner. Look for a clear, but it's much the same so far in the first 30 seconds. Ball not allowed out of this orange side. Finally, Meow's able to play it off the wall to themselves. They've got Buddy racing down, but a great stop by Turbo, and now the counterattack's on.
Turbo's just got to beat DJ over here. We do see Buddy's already rotated towards that back post, and they come flying in to disrupt that push from Turbo. They're going to knock it over. It does end up in front of Slayer, however, and they don't have any follow-up from their own teammates, so Buddy's having to corral this ball down here in the corner. We see the ball now in front of Meow, trying to beat Slayer and Fear Classic. Buddy reads the redirect and gets that first goal, and squeaking it in just under the wire of 1 minute.
And that's exactly what Forsyth needs, is these goals from midfield, because St. John's Bosco's done a fantastic job limiting the blue side attack. But first goal for Forsyth Central, as you said, just over a minute gone by, as we see 4 minutes left now. Turbo trying to set something up. Great stop by DJ TJ. Pass over to Slayer, though. He sees an opportunity. Meow barely able to stop it. Buddy now trying to clear it away. not quite able to, as Fear Classic challenges him in midair.
We have Turbo also running up to try and get that second touch to get the definitive clear, but it's not enough because Buddy's going to find it at the mid and slam it in for that second goal. Yeah, wide open net. Very rare mistake there. Slayer misses on that, and Buddy realizes it. I mean, Meow's closer to the goal than anybody for the side of St. John's Bosco, and you mentioned it. With the best of 5 now, you got to be careful. You can't let the other team have any chance back in, and so far, Forsyth Central maybe starting to find new life in Game 3. We do see Meow win that kickoff, but Slayer will elevate ultimately and get more possession over it, dropping it down in front of the orange goal. But Buddy reads it perfectly, getting a demolition out on Slayer as they're taking it past that midpoint line. Fear Classics trying to get a touch on it. Turbo will ultimately take it away from Meow right there in the corner. Turbo once again will get a nice clearing shot here into the corner. Slayer is there trying to redirect it. Can't quite get around DJ TJ though. And now Meow, whiffs on the ball, so Buddy's got to go back and save it. Fear Classic pops it up in the air. Turbo will challenge for it. He wants to try and play it off the rebound. Wow. Oh my. Beats 2 members of Forsyth and St. John's Bosco back within 1. Yeah, that's what we're talking about, those high mid shots. We saw Buddy manage to score off something very similar. However, I think if we had had a closer shot, you would see that it did touch those members of Forsyth Central, and ultimately that allowed it to get the angle it needed to drop into the goal. Uh-oh, Turbo nearly scores off the kickoff. Forsyth Central's got to be careful. Slayer will just take a shot, but he's able to deny it. Fear Classic trying to center it back, but Meow's going to steal that one away. Turbo reads it in the corner. Will pay for it, though, with a huge demolition from DJ TJ. Now Buddy looking for this ball, maybe trying to get another play, but it just stopped right at midfield. DJ TJ takes a shot. Meow tries to center it down, but Turbo reads that one excellently. DJ, though, with the redirect, it drops right in front of Fear Classic, unfortunately, so they get that save, and now they're going on the offensive. A little bit of disruption coming from behind from DJ right there. DJ gets the demolition out onto Fear Classic, and the save comes from Buddy right there, so now the side of St. John's Bosco's on their heels as Turbo just responded. Fear Classic gonna bang it down. Turbo look for the follow-up, can't quite find it, just a bit too high. And now Slayer can't quite stop that one. Buddy, wanted the shot on an open net, couldn't quite get there in time. Fear Classic turns it away, but a scary location. Fear Classic, though, makes a great save. Now it's a nice shot on goal from DJ, and then 2 players from each, one from each side collided mid-air, so the ball kind of died. DJ TJ gets a nice clear shot over into the corner on the side of blue. DJ will get the demolition out onto Fear Classic. They've got 2 seconds right now. It's a 2v3. Will they be able to find that connecting goal? They will not. They're going to slightly reset it as Fear Classic takes that ball up the side. DJ TJ reads that clear perfectly, but Turbo is able to bang it over to the orange side, down in the corner. Turbo gets his own shot as well. Ball just in front. 90 seconds, 2-2. Fortunately, somebody's going to score an own goal here. Yeah, right. I mean, Slayer was there. If DJ doesn't make that play, Slayer would have hit it in anyway. And I actually think DJ was knocked into the ball by Slayer, so it wasn't completely just an own goal. It was, I was used as a prop. Well, it's 2-2 now. Forsyth's trying to extend the series. St. John's Bosco wants their 3rd championship. Meow takes a shot. It's just a tad too high. Is there any follow-up? No. DJ TJ loses possession of the ball. He tees it up for Buddy. Interesting play there. Fortunately, it was a great stop from Turbo. The ball just gets cleared over to the other corner. DJ read that in the air perfectly, though, knocking it into the corner. Fear Classics there for the disruption. However, nice knock over on back to the orange side. They're just keeping up the onslaught, the pressure on the orange side coming out from St. John's Bosco. That side control is the key that Doc has mentioned before. We do see finally a clear coming out. Slayer, however, is going to chase it up the back. Multiple members on both sides missing the ball, ultimately going to be played off that back wall by Meow. And we do see that they fight. There's the demolitions we were talking about as they find that final demolition, but unfortunately it's not enough for them to find that connecting goal. A huge save there by Turbo. Makes another great save. His buddy, 30 seconds left, trying to win it for his team. Gonna pass it back to DJ TJ, gets a demolition onto Turbo as well, but the ball was just wide. Slayer now looking to carry it. Him and Meow both will miss on it. Slayer ends up spiking it down into the ground. Buddy now gonna try and challenge him. DJ TJ can't quite find it. 10 seconds left here for St. John's Bosco to win it in regulation. Fear Classic centers it up. He's got Turbo over in the corner. Not quite able to find it. Final chance here for either team. Fear Classic gonna pop it up in the air. Can Slayer make anything with it? Meow just wants to clear it away. Turbo barely keeps it alive. Oh, wow. My gosh!
Turbo keeps it alive as well. He's got Fear Classic near the mid.
Oh,
Oh, huge save by Buddy, and we're going to overtime. Woo! Those final seconds take years off your life. Now St. John's Bosco wants to win. Forsyth has to regroup. There's a huge demolition, but Buddy makes another great save. My goodness.
Now we've got Meow trying to take it up, but it gets popped over their hood and right in by Turbo in overtime. That is going to be the goal that finds the victory for St. John's Bosco.
Turbo just puts it in a perfect spot. St. John's Bosco, they take a week off, they come back. They suffer their first ever defeat, but they march on. The first 3-time winners of the Esports Tower Rumble. They have never lost. They have been in the Rumble 3 times. They've won it 3 times. They're the first Triple Crown. Forsyth, they did everything they could. They looked like a team on fire, but I think St. John's Bosco, they found the way to shut down Meow. Without those demolitions, they just felt lost at times. Now that was a fantastic Rumble. I want to give a huge shout out to the Mammoths and the Swerve. Both taking a couple weeks off. They turned it around. They made it to the bracket. The Swerve pushed St. John's Bosco, our champions, to the brink in a 3-game series in the semifinal. Their coaches are going to love reviewing that in their next practices. VOD reviews, a great way to improve your game and learn as a team. I think the Esports Tower does a great job of that. We've seen multiple teams now take a few weeks off, come back strong. But in the end, it's St. John's Bosco who is our champion, just barely edging out Forsyth Central. Both these teams have to be very happy with the result. But, I mean, who's going to stop St. John's Bosco has got to be our question.
I'm going to, of course, make a prediction like though I shouldn't. I feel like it's kind of a running race between Forsyth Central and the Swerve to see who's going to manage to stop St. John's Bosco. I mean, yes, St. John's, congratulations. You get to wear the Triple Crown. Of course, I'm referencing horse races. The horse races did just take place a few days ago, actually, if you follow old people sports like I do. Anyway, but within that regard, you now have a target on your back.
Yep.
Nobody in this entire tournament series thus far has won a Triple Crown. Yes, the Barracudas have taken home 2 championships, but 3, you're asking for teams to start really gunning for you and trying to even just make sure you don't make it into the bracket round. Like, taking you out of, the groups round is going to be the goal of any of the teams from here on out. And yeah, take it as a compliment. It's going to make things difficult. And if you play against Forsyth in the group stage, there's probably going to be a lot more demolitions than we saw today.
Yeah, Forsyth did beat them in the group stage, so they're at least not undefeated in those 3 Rumbles. But we now get a chance to look at our ICCU player of the game, and it will be Fear Classic combining with Turbo and Slayer. I mean, that St. John's Bosco team, anytime a ball's in the air, somebody's going to score it, and they did an excellent job against the Swerve and Forsyth Central of just capitalizing on balls in front of the net in the air and scoring a majority of them.
I can't argue with this player of the game. It was honestly kind of a given in this regard for how well they were facilitating the goal-scoring opportunities for their teammates. Granted, Fear Classic wasn't the one kind of always getting the hat trick, so to speak, but they set up multiple plays for their teammates, and they were always, rotating quickly and in positions where they were able to help out, either save the ball or clear it.
Yeah, fantastic effort. Huge congratulations to Fear Classic. He is the player of the game. Brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes the team more successful. Just like Idaho Central's helping their members achieve financial success, Fear Classic is this week's Esports Tower Rumble Player of the Week. And a huge congratulations to St. John's Bosco, 3-time champions. But as Nerdy said, everybody's gunning for you now. The Barracudas came awfully close in the group stage. Forsyth Central knocked them off. It's the closest St. John's Bosco has ever come to not winning, but they still got it done in the end, and now everybody's gunning for them. And your final thoughts on this week's Rumble, Nerdy?
Honestly, it was very explosive.
Yes, that's a way to put it. It was explosive to the championship, and then St. John's Bosco just took Meow out of the game. They had, I think, 2 demolitions of the championship?
They literally made it so Meow's kind of center focus of their gameplay was not possible to be completed.
Yep.
And when you make it so the person who gets value from blowing other people up can't blow you up, it kind of makes it feel like it is a 2v3 in some cases where, you would anticipate Meow to have been getting a demolition to bring us to a 3v2. Wasn't happening, and they were kind of just being thrown around and put in positions where they couldn't facilitate any sort of play, and that's unfortunate, and it does happen.
Yeah, it was a great play by St. John's Bosco to adapt in those finals, and you said everybody's gunning for him now. I think Forsyth Central still looks like an absolutely insane team, and if they had their state championships, love to hear how they do. If they did come up later in this week, I wish them the best of luck because they are a very talented team. But we will close out now with our top 5 plays presented by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invite you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. More than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for. The Idaho Army National Guard is the best team out there. Reach out on Twitch at iGuard Gaming, and here are the top 5 plays from this week's Esports Tower Rumble and Rocket League. Goes ever taken, though the swerve nearly had a huge upset in the semifinals. I cannot wait to see that team going forward. But right now, it's to the ball. Jocks misses on it, but Dabu's able to make a great save. He's bumped around in the net, and that is going to open things up and should be the difference maker here for St. John's Bosco.
That is a hat trick right there for Slayer. I think we have more than one member on that team now with that hat trick.
Incredible. That was a fantastic play from the swerve, but they got to be careful as they full committed. Dabu makes a huge save. No! Jocks' momentum carries him into the ball.
It's okay, Jocks.
Oh, Dabu made a huge save, and it's just one of those, you're running so hard, you're like, oh, oops.
It's okay, just take it back.
Will corral it in the corner. Looks like he'll pass it back over to Slayer and Fear Classic, but Dabu stole it away.
Dabu, yes!
The swerve. We saw 2 goals in 11 seconds. Let's see if we can get 2 goals in 8 seconds here and potentially get to overtime.
I don't know, the mind games that the swerve were able to pull out somehow magically. Corral this ball down here in the corner. We see the ball now in front of Meow trying to beat Slayer and Fear Classic. Buddy reads the redirect and gets that first goal in, squeaking it in just under the wire of 1 minute.
And that's exactly what Forsyth needs, is these goals from midfield, because St. John's Bosco has done a fantastic job. Tries to hit it down to 5th killer. He'll play it off the wall. Not quite sure if that was a pass or not. Jocks, though,
Jocks!
read it perfectly. And he's got the swerve back within 2.
That's beautiful. All of these passes, it's like, you don't have to be, Jocks has obviously demonstrated they can be the triple threat. They can be